December 13th. December 12th was quite the day. Lots happened, lots of signs and symbols. I'm going to share 2 of them. 2 out of like dozens and dozens that happen every day. Some are more easily to share, some are harder to share. They all make me look crazy when what they should be doing is pointing to the fact there's something running the show that we can't see. But with the internet and the timestamps, now we can see it. This is later than I normally go live. I'm trying to go live closer to 6 o'clock when more people are up. But then it gives me less time on, depending on the day. On Mondays and Fridays, I do go live earlier, generally. So this is just a YouTube video. Came across my FYP. And as I put in these timestamps, 1 and 14. Because there was a discrepancy in the video. And so I went back to find the timestamp from the first discrepancy, and it was at timestamp 1. And I went back to find the timestamp, or I'd already been at the other one. Went back to find it, and it was at 14 minutes. That's my birthday. So the discrepancy in this video is my birthday. We're going to go back up to the top because this is why I started watching it. It's because the very first intro was April 6th. I was like, that's a date that I care about. Yeah, this is literally already on my spreadsheet. Not this video, but this is Chef Exley's death. He's one of the well-renowned scuba divers to have died. And Gus and Woody talk about him on their channel and that he's passed away. But I don't know if they've ever actually covered his death. I didn't know he had a brother who died. Anyway, so after April 6th, I click on this. And it's August 5th. And I'm like, that's not a date. Barely want to watch this, but since this is April 6th, fine, we'll watch it. We'll watch it.
1994, and 2 men plunge into the water.
And now I'm just going to click on the timestamps.
They're dove to.
So Shek Exley was born on April 1st and died on April 6th. My ancestor, my first ancestor in the scrapbook, born April 1st, died April 6th. Their birth and death date, they're the only 2 people I know who have the exact same birth and death date. I'm sure they exist other places. There's the first ones who have come up into my consciousness. And we can now skip this.
Before he went limp and began floating down, he was pulled.
I'm sorry. I'm going to just re-click on that now. We missed the first second.
Or dove to 50 feet before he went limp and began floating down. He was pulled from the water and rushed to a hospital, but unfortunately did not survive. A fate that is sadly all too common in extreme deep.
So he was diving with his brother. His brother went limp. His brother was pulled from the water and made it to hospital, but did not live. So I looked up his brother, and his brother is, I think you probably already said, August 5th is the day of this video, and it's Edward Wilkes Exley's birthday. So watched it without August 5th being relevant. He does not mention August 5th in here, but that is the day that his brother dies at 15. Then you hear the contradicting point at 14 minutes. It said slightly differently, so I don't know if it's actually a contradicting point, but like these 2 parts of the story do not add up.
Final moments of lucidity, Exley had wanted to spare his fellow divers the risk of a dangerous body retrieval attempt. Perhaps in those moments, he thought of his brother, whose body he had been unable to recover from the water so many years ago. Whether intentional or not, Exley made certain his colleagues and friends.
So both his brother was retrieved from the water, brought to the hospital, and died. And nobody, because a lot of scuba divers who die, especially in cave diving accidents, that their bodies are never recovered. And both are being implied here about his brother, unless what they're saying is he wasn't the one physically to pull his brother out. But yeah, that would actually generally be the case. If you go to scuba diving as a team, it's generally going to be the rescuers and other people who pull a body out because you've already spent all of your time, all of your energy, all of your air looking for a living loved one. So it's generally not. Anyway, that was a piece of it. And just the fact that I went to put the timestamps because my little brain needed to point out that discrepancy after I heard this. And so then finding it and realizing it was at the 1 and it was at the 14. One of the other ones that I can actually share, I'll share my video. I think it probably explains it. And I linked to the Justice, Jubilee or Jubilee Justice. I think his name is one or the other. I think his name is actually Justice and Jubilee. I just don't know which one's his first and which one's his last name. Literally, I literally just clicked on the pinned video. Some guy who made money trying to tell you how to make money. not Justice for Jubilee. Krista had used the hashtag Justice for Jubilee, and I made this video. Justice. I followed the hashtag Justice for Jubilee. I'm Jubilee. The hashtag's about me. And I found Justice Jubilee, the account. So of course I clicked on it. And the only pinned video on their account is 2 years ago today, on December 12th. December 12th also happens to be my other birthday. It is the day I did salvia with my siblings long, long ago. So if Justice for Jubilee is about me, why would I need justice? Well, in May of 2024, Allie Priestley, a very mediocre influencer here on this app, Katie Felton, a Instagram influencer coach, and my social worker with MCFD ran a collective smear campaign on me and had me committed against my will under the BC Mental Health Act. And every psychiatrist I've seen since then has based their opinion on my social worker's lies that were based on a social media influencer, narcissist lies. And, well, the signs and symbols, of which this is a tiny one that dozens and dozens have shown up just today, as they always do. Looking into numbers is a sign of mental illness in the DSM-5. So under the DSM-5, looking into numbers, they don't know how to look at that anyway but mental illness. The entire psychiatric industry doesn't know how to look at a human being as anything but mental illness. It's the one area of medicine they require you to have an illness. And there's no way to get a second opinion. So Justice for Jubilee is going to be a long, long process. But in so doing, we are going to create world peace. And it's 10 o'clock, so my alarm's going off. And so my alarm was off right at 10. It went off right then. So I stopped the video, let it be, and it was at exactly 222, which are all tiny micro signs and symbols. The sign was more the Jubilee account. Also, Justice for Jubilee, because there's like 80 something posts under that. Krista has not made 89 posts under that. There is another Justice for Jubilee that the Jubilee spelled wrong because it's Jubilee is I think her name, and she was essayed and murdered in Kuwait, and there is was a campaign for Justice for Jubilee, but her name isn't spelt the same as mine. And she was killed. She was murdered, taken off of this planet on January 23rd, 2023. Jane's birthday. I don't remember what down on Jane's birthday in 2023, but specifically whichever one went down right after Roxy and Jane became friends and whatever, yeah, they all did on that birthday, which I don't quite remember. Same day, Jubilee. I don't remember her name. But anyway, the Justice for Jubilee hashtag, I was wrong. It's not about me, but when Krista uses it, it's about me. So that was just two videos. Then I'm looking up May 18th stuff. And one of the videos I find for May 18th is this video. We're not going to watch the whole thing. It is an unlisted video. I haven't watched the whole thing, but we are going to fast forward. I don't even know what, like, just the fact it was May 18th, the reason I clicked on it. And I was like, there's times I label my accounts as like 3 a.m. because it's weird that, or was weird that I would be up at 3 a.m. I don't know why I labeled this 10:25. I also almost always round numbers when I'm talking about time, like at the 15 mark. So like 10:15, 10:30, 10:45, 11. So I don't know why 10:25. So I was listening. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's not today. 14. Maybe we I'm talking about the food system, but this is signs and symbols, just signs and symbols. I hear my dad's voice.
Here?
Yeah, we're both here.
Did you hear someone?
We end up having an entire conversation that can be heard on camera. Heard on mic while I'm off screen about naltrexone. And then all this, because I was listening to the thing on naltrexone now that I don't have to be on it. Oh, and you didn't. It wasn't. You guys are part of that. Weren't part of that. Okay, back to. So this is 10:25 and being me on May 18th, 2021. And then at 36:12, my dad comes in.
Here?
Yeah, we're both here.
Did you hear someone knock at the door?
I have to explain to my dad yet again that I'm single-sided deaf and can't tell direction of sound, and you know. And then we have a conversation about naltrexone. 10:25, October 25th is the day my dad moved out. 2 years later. Well, 2.5 years later, because this is on May 18th. It's also the day he brought my daughter to go see My Little Pony. It's like it was in my journal as one of the things, which is why when he moved out, I'm like, oh, one of the few things you actually did with your granddaughter, and you're moving out on that day. They're like the only two things on the spreadsheet. And the reason my dad moved out is I kicked him the fuck out because him and my sister came for my child. I don't know why I just pluralized my singular child. My parents and sister, instead of helping me in any way, shape, or form, decided it was better to get the state involved than lift a little pinky finger, right? You need cooking and cleaning, Jubilee? Does that mean you want us to? That sounds like a mental illness. No, and I've been asking for it for a decade. I've been asking for explaining that my cooking and cleaning skills are declining. My executive functioning is declining. I can live in flow and I can do this big, huge thing that didn't have signs and symbols around it until long into 2023, long after my spiritual awakening. And the mental health system not understanding the spiritual awakening, that's less of a fuck with my brain, because the fucking course, than my family not under, like, just Tirza's the only one who gets spiritual awakenings. Anything Tirza does is good, true, and proper. Anything Jubilee does, I guess we're just deeming as mental illness. Like, I fucking can't with my family. But me processing my family and the uselessness of white colonized families and them more as a brand than they are as a unit of a functioning team. An actual family only in name. Any of you need anything from anyone unless it's the narcissist? No. These are the families. We live in a hyper-independent. And you don't know how useless as fuck your family is, or your husband, or your wife, until you get sick and you need them. I got sick. I needed them. I communicated I needed them. And every step along the way, the doctors, my family, friends, and random strangers look at asking for help as another sign of mental illness. Well, if you really needed help, you would just sit there and stew until someone came and just magically helped you. The world we live in. So we're going to listen to the first part of this because I'm talking about food and how it's going to save the world. And I do remember at some point in time coming up with, I don't think this is it, because this is after the pandemic and it was pre-pandemic, but like, wow, when we feed ourselves, they don't control us. When we feed ourselves, we're in a culture of connection. Feeding ourselves is the key to all of it. Growing food, transporting food, working in grocery stores, working in restaurants, all looked at as demeaning labor. Minimum wage labor. They're probably some of the most essential workers. I don't know so much about restaurant workers who can probably live without restaurants, but the people in our food industries. Instead of paying people next to slave wages or actual slavery to have our goods and especially our food on the table, we do the work. We volunteer at whatever stage we're at. Whatever we currently spend time, money on food, we get way more better food and more of it for less than we're spending. You can't do that by yourself. By yourself, the prices are all just going to skyrocket and we're all just going to be on the edge until we fall off like little fucking lemmings. Or which is a lie, right? But like, we're the lemmings. We made the lemmings story. We pushed the lemmings off the cliff. We're the lemmings. We're gonna follow one another off a cliff. We could have done literally fucking anything about it, unless we leave it up to the goober nuggets in charge. Unless we leave it up to the systems that be, that will only ever concentrate power, corrupt power, fuck with us. Like, our... The world is flipping on its head. The rich are being brought down. They've got fucking nothing but their money. The rich have not a fucking thing but their money. And they're losing their money. It's happening before our eyes. We're watching it happen. I don't mean their stock prices are going down. I mean, the world is celebrating the murder of a billionaire. So much so that anyone who was involved in any way in his capture is being completely villainized, right? Like the one of the companies that it was his backpack company, and because he's rich, he had a backpack that has a serial number that you can actually say who bought it, and the company helped. In fact, they reached out to the police officers and said, we know, right? Which again is not what a business should, or business is normally the opposite when I watch a cop show, right? Do you have a warrant? Yeah, of course, but our clients, they deserve some anonymity. So like, you need to come in with a warrant, and you need to know it's a unique backpack, and then you need to come in and ask for it instead of the unique backpack reaching out, right? Because if they hadn't reached out, hadn't been a snitch in this case, right? Right now their backpacks would probably be flying off the shelves. They'd probably be heroes, but instead they snitched on who would become the hero. And so it's reversed, right? The McDonald's guy, the McDonald's employee who called in isn't getting the reward, and he's going to be seen of as a villain. Luigi's seen of as a hero. If the billionaires, who again only have money, aren't quaking in their boots, they're quaking. And again, just like everyone else, they're at their breaking point. They're not at their breaking point on the cost of eggs, milk, and gas. But all they have is money. And some of them even think they're Christian. Some of them even think they have a religion. And every religion basically says if you're rich, it's going to be a lot fucking harder to be a good person, to follow your own religion. In the sake of Christianity, it's going to be easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. Let's watch Food System, or Line from Before My Father.
It was other people thinking I'm a bad person. Then it turns out that doesn't matter. That's like the notes in the margin. Becoming, what was it I was saying on the video before? I don't remember what train of thought I lost and decided to stop recording. But morally and logically, that my fear is being a bad person, not other people thinking I'm a bad person. It was other people thinking I'm a bad person. Then it turns out that doesn't matter. No matter how good you are, people are going to see themselves reflected in you and their interpretation of what you're doing. And they can't see, most of them can't see the bigger picture. Of what they get and we get when they too get to be themselves, when they too get to live their purpose. Like, we can maximize life for everyone by unleashing everyone who wants that. Helping people who want to make a difference come together and make a difference. How to do the team finding, building, maintaining, creating, trying, improving, building, like how to do those pieces with tools and help us do the parts that we enjoy and thrive on, and we get all of the ingenuity that comes out of that, and creating cooperative spaces that help us do that work like WeWorks, like that's just about collaboration, just about doing the services of our lives, the food, the maintenance, the cleaning, the like figuring out the systems that help us do those things. And how to share the labor, how to share the cost, how to bring up the efficiency, down the cost, same thing. That because I'm now freed from that, everyone else and what they think of me, except I'm totally not, which is why I'm doing this. I'm doing what I was recording on the iPad was the intro to the Isms playlist, release, whatever. Various episodes of thoughts on racism, which is basically the hate the racism, not the racist. That people can't see that they are doing. Like I could go through, we're calling them rebel wisdom, neurodivergent rebel, and it's my next step. Being our imperfect, incapable, beautiful, unique, stressed, anxious, underestimating, overestimating, or just all of it selves, the actual diversity of where we are, with permission to grow because we have permission to be where we are. Everywhere on the map exists. And so if there's a person who exists there, how do we help them gain health, relationships, resources, and enjoyment so they're able to find ways to grow in the ways that they're meant to, which means we don't get to dictate the ways they're meant to. That's up to them and God. And so then there's like explaining what God is, which is what I'm writing. Not releasing videos on it. We're just releasing videos on transphobia and racism and ableism because that is much easier. I'm just like never gonna edit videos. That should be my new policy. It's like instead of when it's meant to happen, someone will come along and do it. It's like, no, you're gonna need to watch an hour long. Someone else is gonna need to figure out how to timestamp that shit. Thanks. Oh. But knowing that I am a good person, and yet having all of the coping mechanisms and trauma responses of need to prove I am a good person, and then I need to de-stress my life, and they're all based on stress. Or not all. Now there are many, many that aren't. But they were mostly based on stress and finding out where that is. Like adrenaline forcing in information. Like, nope, can't be a strategy anymore. Just allow it. Whatever sticks, sticks. From that space, a lot more sticks. Whereas needing it to stick makes none of it stick. And so I get what I get.
So before, when I was in university or high school, I could cram. I could be I could ace. I could ace every test because I already knew the stuff from sitting through class and didn't even need to study, or I could learn it the night before, read the textbook, and go in and ace it. No problem. That's adrenaline. Shoving things into my brain with adrenaline. So many ADHD people do it, and they get eventually into burnout and cannot do it anymore. I got into burnout in university with brain tumors. I wasn't able after that. After the first brain surgery is when it started, but it didn't really compound until my radiation. I'm not able to. I have a memory of thought. I remember what I was talking about and what I'm not able to do. But I've been explaining, screaming, shouting, begging for anyone to listen about how I experience my physical body and how it's experiencing the world, my brain and how it's experiencing the world after brain surgery, after radiation. I have to meet people where they're at. And I've been on a journey of meeting myself where I'm at, to the point where to MCFD, to the mental health system, I look like the crazy one when really they're the crazy ones. That MCFD thinks they're a good organization when they are designed to murder. Jubilee, are you doing an Allie Priestley? They are designed to harm people's children. The interview's a harm. Being there at all is a harm. And they need to feel like they're heroes stepping in to help. A little bit of Josh, all of the routes to MCFD to CPS is stealing indigenous children. White families thinking they can raise other people's families despite the fact they've deconstructed no racism better than their mothers can, better than their fathers and families and cultures can. Your pristine baby would be better off with a white, fine, upstanding Christian, white family. On Christian. There's still more indigenous children taken in nearly every country, more non-white children taken, and yet still they're after mine, right? Because I'm a disabled mom. They are after our children. They will take them for any reason. They're there to work for the state, to make the state look good, and they make the state look horrible. Thousands of children go missing from foster care. Thousands of children end up on the street and trafficked. Our system is so highly broken, and the sharks are in charge of the hen house. We're just throwing the chickens in the water.
There are like things that I'm willing to accept about like my health and my body and my body and what it is and my circumstances that I'm not willing to accept if they change. I didn't want them to change, but there are certain ones, like the moment this last week of like, yeah, no, I choose this. I choose whatever it is that's happening to be happening. Like how to do this without having like the collectivity of the masses, without having a following of the masses, or if you do have a following of the masses, definitely call it that. And how to have a core group of people that are supporting you, that are helping you, well, that you can trust and be authentic with, even more so. I mean, hopefully you can be authentic with all those people, but that's why you're bringing them in, because there isn't a need to do it for profit. So if this isn't enjoyable, then don't do it. Find what is. Because what is enjoyable is actually what this is supposed to be following. Like our collective joy of like, what's fun? What do we want to be doing? Like celebrating and having festivals and doing that stuff is part of life, a part of what we want to create, but that's not the first thing we start.
It is the first thing. If there was somebody with money, no, it actually is. Festivals, celebration, cooking, growing food together is life. Our current festivals, where you pay an astronomical money and go and dance and sing with strangers, bring your own, just create a whole bunch of mess, it's fun. It's bonding for your group, but it's not like, it's still surface level bonding. Right? Still, like, you're on your own for your problems and I'm on my problems. We'll just pay hundreds of dollars of tickets to get up and to come together for camping, to music, and it's 5:18. I'm bored right now. Sorry, I was distracted by the time as we're talking about 5:18. So we'll let ourselves get distracted. So this is, again, an hour long, not watching it, 10:25. Here is the one I made the same day on wokeness. This one, unlike the other one, is public. So we've had 15 views, as we do. And look, I even time-stamped it myself. But we're going to watch the whole thing, because it's only 15 minutes. Or only 12 minutes. 12:02. 12:02.
Intent of either, yeah, it probably will be public, but it might not be. Or it probably won't be public, but maybe if it's really awesome, I'll make it public. This one, I truly don't know. I was laying in bed this morning with thoughts on my Schrodinger tumors and how, if they are there, one of the things that I'm not currently doing, that I plan on doing and probably should do anyway, is speak my truth more. There are still a few things that I haven't done videos on that I've been holding back. 3 main ones, one of which I won't be touching with a 10-foot pole because of the current climate and my video removal last week. But the other 2 being racism and wokeness in general, and transphobia. So I guess it's really just one big one. And that's what this video is kind of talking about. Then I started scrolling through Facebook and I got to Neurodivergent Rebels page, which I really like. I really want to do a solution raising with Lyric and other autistic adults who have, hopefully some of others who have been through ABA, because I know they haven't and I haven't. But on ABA, I want to do it on what could the actual adult autistic people offer families that could fill that role without it filling the role. Like how could we offer support and help and actual solutions that aren't just stop doing what you're doing, but here's what to do instead, and have it be more, anyway, to do a solution raising with autistic influencers about how can we help children with autism when we're not their parents. But that being said, their page is very woke, and I get why. I'm very much that way, especially with my autism of like, this is the rule, so therefore it's what you have to do. Like when I first started attending the school I did, where we talked about pronouns and did the land acknowledgement every time, it was like that needed to happen at the beginning of every conversation, because it's what you ought to happen. And only now thinking about it and being more in a global society, I'm like, well, land acknowledgement doesn't really make sense when you're doing it globally. And pronouns, like why are we talking about pronouns and not all the other accommodations and everything else that is relevant to our lives? Why?
I've got zero chill. Game B broke me from Zoom, where like if I walk into any kind of group chat and there's more than 5 people and they start introductions, I'm like, nope the fuck out. If people are saying unless it's a very queer space and it's part of like, right, say your pronouns, even that, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to remember it. If you want them, put them in your bio, put them in your name tag, put them where I can see them, and then we don't need to take 5 hours to go through that. And then what I'm about to say, they're an important accommodation. They're one accommodation. Why is gender the center and only important, and not like, hey, if anyone needs their glasses, take them out. Does anyone need a translator? Is anyone hard of hearing, needs to move to the front? Like, it's just, is everyone okay? Does everyone need a bathroom break, right? To actually make a space safe. Pronouns aren't fake safe, but like land acknowledgement and having those things when doing just that as lip service is a fake as fuck safe space, and they aren't safe. There shouldn't even be almost safe spaces. Like, we need to know what the fuck a safe space means. Safe for who and when?
This one thing. But those are their own videos. I'll go more into those ones. Let's just get into the trouble and not the explanation or anything. So they do a lot of posts of like, if there's any transphobia, if there's any racism, you'll be removed. And I haven't seen it, so I don't know what that bar is to get removed. But this is part of the problem, is like, what does it mean to be transphobic? What does it mean to be racist? I know the very black and white over the top ones that are obvious, but the microaggressions, should they get you banned when they're microaggressions? The person experiencing the microaggressions has experienced so much that it's like they need safe spaces. They need spaces where they're not going to have to encounter that, where they're not going to have to do the emotional work and the spiritual work of having to encounter that constantly. And Lyric gets to create whatever they want on their page for their them and their fans' mental space. So they don't need to uphold freedom of speech. But woke culture in general, where like everyone should be removed if they have microaggressions. Everyone should be removed even for actual, very clear, cut and dry racism and transphobia and homophobia, is doing to them what they are doing to us. And I wouldn't have so much of a problem with that if it was actually having the impact that the woke left wanted it to have, but it's having the opposite impact. It creates more division. We're not getting, like, the people are digging in their heels deeper, become more racist, more homophobic, more transphobic, trans people having more violence committed against them, people of different races having more violence committed against them, not less. So this is the post that they posted, which is someone else's post from 2019. It says, so many folks talk about how they are being forced to accept things that go against their beliefs. They're not being forced to accept them. If you have a problem with people of color, with gay marriage, with trans people, with immigrants, with people of any, with women of any race, etc., then you're still welcome to feel however you want to feel about these people. You're just not allowed to make their lives harder because of your feelings. You're not allowed to turn their daily lives into a battleground. No one is forcing you to accept a single thing. You're just not allowed to terrorize people. Agree. I agree with all of that. That it's the action, not the thought and feeling, that needs to be policed. Thought and feeling can lead to actions, especially other people's actions, but there's this, like, if you have this thought and you express it, we should thought police you and think you're going to maybe commit actions, you're going to invoke other people to commit actions and treat you accordingly. But the post they did, like the blurb they did on top of it, says, if you have a problem with it, I will remove you from this page. And that is the issue, is like, then that is forcing people to accept it. If you're going to remove them, if they can't toe the line exactly as you think it should be towed, that is forcing them. And Lyric is a very strong proponent that ABA is torture. I agree. I think ABA is conversion therapy for autistics. It's like how to make you appear that, let you put on conversion therapy is putting on a mask that you're straight in the world so you can be treated lovingly by your family and community. And it doesn't work, and it causes suicide and mental illness, and it's just bad. We know that. That's why it's outlawed most places. ABA is the same for autistic children, how to get them to behave in a neurotypical way, and it's done with long, grueling hours and making them cut off the pieces of themselves to fit into society, shaping them into a puzzle piece that will fit. And so aptly logo, Autism Speaks, that if we force people to not express their true thoughts and feelings, how are they meant to grow and learn? And if the average of society, our average wokeness, everyone below it, we just shame doesn't help them rise. Shame doesn't help them see that their racism has errors, that their transphobia has errors. Just saying, no, we don't talk about that. Any question about sex and gender, any pointing out of anything, it's transphobic. Any pointing out of anything that could be considered, well, wait, what? Maybe there are statistics that point out some of the beliefs that are, well, why are those statistics there if we can't even talk about it, if we can't talk about those? And at the same time, I realize that all social media platforms are designed for drama and for dopamine hits. They aren't designed to actually tackle any of the deep issues. They're not designed to actually look at our deep-seated racism and make it better. Yet it makes money by having us feel superior because we're less racist than the other people, and then ostracizing them instead of looking at where do I still have subconscious beliefs and where can I do it. And that's where this 8 minutes in, celebrating our own unique journey instead of needing people to be at a certain place, understanding out of the tapestry of infinite possibilities of how woke you are on any given topic, including ones that the wokest woke haven't even thought of, haven't even sparked of an idea yet. There are people all over that landscape, people who've never encountered it, people who have thought deeply about it and transgressed further into the past, people have deeply thought about it and had the pre-trans fallacy happen, where once you think beyond what the middle thinks, anyway, we're not going to explain the pre-trans fallacy. I'm not going to go look that up. It's an integral concept. If we can celebrate our own unique journey, and wherever you are, there's nothing wrong with it. However, this is going to be controversial, racist, transphobic, homophobic, ableist you are, was where you're starting. To not be able to acknowledge it, to not be able to have a safe space for you to explore your thoughts and feelings that isn't broadcasted on a soapbox, which isn't inflicting it on the people that could be hurt by it. But if you have to hold it inside and suppress it everywhere, all of the time, you are being forced to accept it, and you're not being benefited by that. You're not having your growth. If anything, it's making you dig deeper. And society isn't getting your growth, isn't actually seeing less and less racism. We're seeing more division, more violence, less freedom of speech. And I can see where that's leading. I myself am looking to be less and less racist, have less ableism, less transphobia, less homophobia, because I know that I live in a society that is all of those things. And even if I am way less than the average population, even if I'm in the top 1%, I still have more to learn and more to grow and more subconscious to dig out. And I am part of many of those groups that are ostracized, that have actual violence committed against them. And yet, if I want less violence, fighting against it in the way we currently are is having the opposite impact. And so I hope that I don't get kicked off of, I didn't even read what I wrote them, which I will end this with. And I hope I don't get kicked off of their page because I do really like them. But it's more important that I speak my truth, both just for celebrating my own unique journey, but also there's something about the Schrodinger's tubers that's like, yeah, you're listening to higher power, but are you truly speaking from your voice and dealing with all of the chakras? So I put, love your page, so I hope I will not be removed. Telling people they will be removed for having a thought or emotion and then telling them they are not being forced is force. A punishment, removal, for not feeling or thinking the way you do is force. If ABA is torture, how must it feel to have thoughts and feelings that are behind the times, but constantly be made to conform or be shamed? How can people grow and learn if they can't share what they think and feel and allow their own path to growth? We make bigotry stronger by fighting it in this way. So I'm hoping we can create a culture, a small seed of a culture that can grow. And I'm going to start it with me, which is why I need to start speaking my absolute truth of your truth is allowed. Your current understanding of things is allowed. Your current emotional capacity on things is allowed. And from that space, there can be ultimate growth. From allowing and surrendering to what is, we can get the most growth from ourselves and therefore from each other.
So those were 2 videos that I did on May 18th, 2021. Here's Allie, long before we meet, right? It just so happens May 18th. May 18th, 2022. A year after me, a year before she makes the video on her YouTube channel that sits there for a year calling me crazy.
I don't want to be autistic anymore. Do you hear me? I just saw a video where like a big creator that I actually really like her, but
I'm sorry. Just for, I know there's 4 people here and you all know who this is, but just for future people, this is Allie Priestley. She's the one around the smear campaign on me with the social worker and Katie Felton to have me put in the hospital in the psych ward, right? This is why it's called psych wards on May 18th because of the next video we're going to watch after this, where I'm covering the video she did on one of our friends. One of the videos she did on one of her friends, and I have it unlisted. She still has the video up. I don't remember what she called it. We'll look into it. Well, then what? Right. This one's not autistic. This one has some kind of borderline, needs to make the whole world her problems, throw smoothies in people's faces. Her interpersonal problems is that she exists, not that she is autistic and doesn't understand her personal problems. Like, the world's not focused on Allie Priestley as a narcissistic, neurodiverse interpersonal problem. Not a, wow, I can't make eye contact, or I don't understand other people, I have hypo-empathy, all the things, right? But Allie both wants to claim expertise in autism and also be like, it sucks and all. Anyway, so this is her on May 18th.
she was like, you guys just want to be autistic. Like, no, we don't. And of course, there's a lot of like misdiagnosis on this app. And like, people, of course, that happens in anything that's happened since the internet. A lot of people are going to think that they have something they don't. But for those of us who have this, who got missed, I don't know how to come to terms with the fact that like, I will always be like this. I will always have a version of stuck inside syndrome. There will always be a part of me that I can't express a way that I can't. I want one day in a brain that's linear and effective and fun.
Viral a couple years ago, and that I shouldn't be making fun of human trafficking.
So Satan starts a coven. Satanic bitch. I was like, they're right. I had made a video the day it got put out and then made it unlisted. I don't know whether it was the information in Allie's video that was the reason I made it unlisted, or it was the reason in my video that made it unlisted, but we're just watching the end of it because Allie's talking about her psych stay, right? That everyone else but her is responsible for, where, Satanic bitch is a human trafficking survivor, and Allie made a human trafficking when she walked in and screamed at all the nurses and was like, "You guys trafficked me!" And I see both sides. It's like, right, that's not the same. That's clearly not the same as being trafficked into sex work. Just like being a slave under capitalism, working for way too many hours to not make enough money is not the same as actual slavery, but it still fucking sucks. Putting people in mental hospitals against their will is a form of human trafficking. They're doing it for their own money, their own ego, their own whatever the fucking reason. Graham lied to the doctors. There is a sprinkling of truth to like, I get it, Allie. I get it. Doesn't mean we make fun of human trafficking, right? And Allie gets to make fun of everything, and anytime anyone does anything to her, it's wrong. So let's listen to her.
Trafficking. I didn't. You made fun of it. You made fun of it. And let's just clear the air right now for everyone. A few years ago, I went through a couple really traumatizing things, like a brain scan. I was still on Adderall. I found out that my brain, I found out that like everything that had ever happened to me in the mental health world was a lie. I found out I had a brain injury. I found out like I had this brain scan done and I lost my mind. I had to be hospitalized for a couple days, and I was still on Adderall. I was still drinking. I was still
Okay, so I was not in the psych hospital. I went to the ER for panic. My heart rate was crazy, so they kept me for a few days and put me on a ton of benzos so I could sleep. I'm in Canada. We go to the ER, we go to the doctor, we don't get a bill at the end. We also almost never get admitted to hospital. Like, getting admitted to hospital means you are very sick, or they really, really need to look in because you could be very sick, right? They need to monitor you overnight. I go to ER maybe once. I would say I average 1.5 visits to the ER a year. Never am I admitted. Like, that's not what happens here in Canada. And I think because we have a different, like a socialized medicine, and it's so expensive to stay in the hospital, like C-section, you're out day 3. Major abdominal surgery with your newborn baby, you're out day 3. So I'm not sure. Like, I'm not saying this. I'm like, what is with America's medical system? She had a heart rate, so they kept her there for a few days and why not just put her on benzos? Why not like give her an EKG unless she's having a heart attack? Like, I don't. This is more about doctors than Allie's lies, or is it Allie's lies? Like, does this add up for medicine? Not in a psych ward. She went to the ER for panic. That tracks. My heart rate, like so many people go to the ER for panic. You think they're dying, right? And they're like, no, your heart rate's fine. You're not having a heart attack. They get them in right away because they could be having a heart attack. I have had chest pains and gone to the ER, and they've done the EKG, made it, and right, not having a heart attack, got sent home, not admitted, but my heart rate was crazy, so they kept me for a few days, and put me on a ton of benzos so I could sleep.
and I had just gotten out of the hospital. They had put me on benzos for a few days. I went over to my friend's house to watch his dog, my friend who just died. And his dog was in trouble. I called the fucking cops. It's a really long story, and none of you deserve the details.
Okay, so the dog was in trouble, and you called the cops. Was the dog holding you at knife point? Because the adult human police officers, generally for human problems, right? So like the dog being in trouble, you'd either take it to the vet, you get a way to get you and the dog to the vet, right? They don't have, unfortunately, a ambulance for pets. Not that I know of. So you called the cops on a dog emergency. Okay. And then you and cops, we know that doesn't go well. Did you just throw a smoothie at the police officers, Allie?
Honestly, but this is the bullet points. And this is what Jubilee always talks about too. Everyone thinks that they understand the story. They don't. They don't. And
Jubilee speculates on that story because you tell every story in minute detail constantly and show the receipts, but you keep referencing that time period that was the reason for you and your friends falling out, and I'm still worried about that dog. What happened to the dog? I can speculate, but you're the only one who's alive still who can answer that, right? What happened to the dog?
And I have never been picked up by the cops in my town. I'm not like some criminal who does a bunch of stuff. Carrie Ann thinks, everyone says that the cops have been over to my house like 19 times. Like, that's not true. You guys love to just.
We love to jump to conclusions that you yourself say constantly. Again, there's video of you saying you have run-in after run-in with the cops. That your dad says you're a cop magnet. Your videos.
Just put bullshit rumors out. I called the cops. Something happened, and in classic Allie fashion, I freaked the fuck out on them. They came over to the apartment and they 5150'd me. They 5150'd me, like, wrongfully. My parents tried to stop them. A bunch of, like, all this different stuff happened. And I was in the middle of like this awful autistic meltdown. I was on heavy medication and I was drinking a little bit that day to try to calm down. And it was a mess. And that was right before I found out that I was autistic. And I was going like,
I can speculate, but you're the only one who's alive still who can answer.
they still can't tell me why they were able to take me in.
I'm trying to move subtitles up that are on a recorded video, so it's not working. It's not working. I see the problem. So, because I have it up. Let's listen to Smoothiegate and Allie's own words before we listen to the rest of her story from 2021, right? Allie remembers stories because now Smoothiegate is if she told the story, she'd go viral and everyone would have so much sympathy for her because, you know, the general manager deserved it. Except that she's also left breadcrumb evidence to how much she lies, how much she misremembers and reconstitutes the all of it. This is one of the stories I could never figure out. She said the dog got hurt at the groomers, so she called the police. What? So like 911, Jubilee 911, the dog got cut at the groomers. Do you know what 911 is for, Allie Priestley? Yes. 911 is Center Allie Priestley number. The world's not going according to plan. Sorry. I'm just going to add the Smoothiegate to the, now that we have it in Allie's own.
I need to get off the fucking internet. Something so scary just happened. And it's because I'm feeling like so traumatized and shit by like the whole cop thing. Like, bro, I just fucked up so bad and I don't even know what to do. And I don't know if I can get arrested for this. Like, I can't, like, I'm seriously gonna have like such a bad panic attack. I don't know what to do. And I cannot tell my parents this. Like, oh my God, I just, oh my God, like, how does this even happen? Like, I think it's just because I was like, I watched that live back this morning and I thought it was making me feel better. But I think like between the cops and like, I don't know, I think like the cop thing, like I have this like really, really deep-seated anger about it and it feels so out of control, obviously. And I literally just went to like get contacts and I fucking hate America's Best and they have been so horrible. And so I started going to one far away and like, I need contacts so bad and all this stuff happened. But basically I was just gonna go in today and see if I could do like my prescription's out. So I'm going out of town. So I was like, can I just get like a pair of trial lenses or something? Hate this particular one that I went to today. Like I never go in there because they're actually like the worst company ever. Or this specific one, I go to one like 20 minutes away because they're like awesome. And today I just went to the one that was closed and like I just scare the actual fuck out of myself. Like my autistic rage, like once it gets ignited, like there is no stopping it. Like I just want to lock myself in a fucking room. And after 6 months of all this shit, I just, oh my God, why did it come out right now? Like this woman, so like the manager came out to talk to me and they were like being really weird. And I was like, so the manager came out to talk to me and she was like, yeah, no, like if they've been giving you trials, like they're stupid, like we can't blah, blah, blah. And so so I left and then I went back, even though I knew I was really mad. I was like, don't go back in there. And I went and got a smoothie. And then I went back in, I was like, I want you guys to explain why you can't give me a free trial. And she even offered to have me see the fucking doctor right then. And I was like, I don't have time today. And I should have just fucking done it. Like it doesn't even take that long to do an eye exam. And she started like, so we went back and forth for a while and she was like, well, I'm looking at your chart right here. Like you're a troublemaker. And I was like, what? I was like, I have made complaints about this store before because you guys are terrible. She's like, oh yeah, you were just at Northland. You're trying to get free contacts. And I was like, what? Like, no, I'm not. She's like, you can just leave my store because like I'm looking at your chart right here. And I was like, the chart where I've like complained about how this store is so shitty and you guys never just like, I don't know. I was like, those are complaints. Or like if people got mad that I complained, why don't you guys just do your fucking jobs? And I was like, I haven't even stepped foot in this location in 2 years. Like you're not going to tell me that I'm a bad person. And like obviously I was like, I've been through so much. Like I just can't handle this right now. Like I just need a pair of trial lenses. If you can't do it because it's a legal issue, fine. But don't fucking tell me that you're looking at my chart right now and that I'm a bad person. And I don't know what she said. And I threw my fucking smoothie at her. I threw my smoothie at her, Hags. I've never.
You can't tell people in their chart they're a bad person, and then I threw my smoothie at her, proving I'm a bad person. That like 30 seconds. So
done something like that before. Like, can I get arrested for that? I'm literally like, this trauma and everything that's happened is getting the best of me. Like, I think I'm okay. And before the whole cop thing, I was, but like that, it like gives me like this distrust in the world where like I have this unspeakable anger. And like, once my rage gets to that point, like I'm so scared of myself. How the fuck did that happen? And like, the girl came outside and filmed me after, like, as I was walking away. Like, that could go viral. I don't know if anyone was filming when it happened. Like, I'm actually gonna freak out. Like, I just walked around the building for, like, 30 minutes after that and tried to hide from them. And, like, I cannot believe that just happened. Like, I have to back away from this situation because it's making me fucking crazy. Yeah, and if I'm throwing smoothies at fucking anyone or throwing anything at anyone, like, I'm so embarrassed to, like, tell anyone that just happened. But oh my God, like if that's how angry I actually am inside, like I was so close to like almost punching that officer the other day when I was mad. Like I can't get myself in trouble because of these women. Like I just can't. And like, I don't know, this is so traumatizing. Like I have to take responsibility for doing that. And oh my God. I don't know. I think it hit her in the shoulder. Like I threw it at her. And obviously they're going to have it on camera and like there's going to be security. I'm seriously like about to like, I don't even know. I can't do, like if I can't do this. Like I can't. I'm so scared now. And like all these different things. My parents literally came to the apartment I was at, spoke with the police. They left. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden they came back and apprehended me out of nowhere. They took me to like a little holding cell at Lutheran Hospital and they gave me medication that I can't have without even like, it was really bad. It was really scary. The cops fucked up, the hospital fucked up, and they let me go not even a day later and told me that they fucked up. And then I said, I want to know how this happened, why this happened. You guys gave me medication that I cannot have. I cannot have antipsychotics. I can't have them. And they just shoved it right into my veins and left me in a room by like, you guys, for time's sake, those are the bullet points to that story. And it's a story that happens all the time. And it was a horrible situation. And I got charged a ton of money to be wrongfully 5150'd.
There's a lot that I'm suspect on in that story. However, that the medical system is not great for mental or physical health. Absolutely. That there's lots that needs to happen there with the people who are working there and the people that are using those services. Yes. However, this whole story is very like, do I believe a person would have someone have a mental health crisis called and they end up getting taken in when their family is there to support them? Yeah, that shit happens. That it happened to you and that's your story makes me really actually worried about what the cops saw that night for them to not trust your fine, upstanding white parents to look after you. When you called the cops on a dog situation at your friend's house and they left and then came back and second guessed that. We're like, nope, it's worth the paperwork. Guys, I'm not for mental health, like especially forced incarceration for mental health or crimes. However, it's the system we currently have. And the fact you are who you are and have had so many run-ins and yet still feel the need to call them constantly on everyone else who's going to have less favorable run-ins because they don't have two fine, upstanding white parents to stand up for them and say that they can take them home to their house and look after them.
And they even admitted it was wrong and people got fired for it and this story went totally viral. And it's so wrong to 5150.
It's wrong to 5150 anyone, even erroneously claimed little self-diagnosed autism, like this little narc. It's wrong to 5150 anyone. We need ways to do what 5150 does without 5150. Allie's story went viral. Of her, right? Look me in the children. And then she used it to launch her first platform. There are a few videos. I mean, I'm going to keep putting up TikTok videos. I'm not looking to go viral. I'm also looking to go viral. When it's meant to happen, it will happen. I'm going to tell my story daily in my word salad with the signs and symbols, whatever weirdness. Hallie Priestley and Katie Felton convinced my social worker of their version of me, and he directly, with his knowledge of our family, lied to the doctors. He is the only person who should lose his job, but all of the psychiatrists that base their opinion of me on his expertise and his lies should really reevaluate their entire degree and how they couldn't tell the difference between somebody who has aphasia and autism. How do you know they have aphasia? Because they're literally fucking telling you. And yet you're believing the social worker that she has delusional disorder. The social worker who's not a doctor can't diagnose delusional disorder, can't diagnose someone with a mental illness. But the psychiatrist diagnosed me with a mental illness because Graham, the social worker, let them know that, yes, he in fact does believe I have a mental illness. All of my symptoms, everything I've been screaming from the rooftop for a decade, and this man's only known me for 6 months, must be because of Allie Priestley and my obsession with her, and I just can't let her go. I might not be able to tell a story and make it go viral, but I will repeat the story. This is my story. I don't have legal recourse. I can't do paperwork. What I can do is tell my story, and my story, it has become more and more powerful. This is the May 18th one. We're going through just what happened on May 18th over a few years.
Autistic people wrongfully. It's wrong to tell someone, okay.
Nope, it's wrong to 5150 anyone erroneously, right? Anyone. Not autistic people. Again, you're using it as a weapon. Like, because I'm autistic. No, because you're a human. All humans, allistic and autistic.
Hey, we're gonna let you go. You're clearly okay. You're just in a bad spot, going through a really traumatizing time. We're gonna leave you here. Everything's fine.
This is a little fun piece of manifestation, right? The cops come to Jubilee's house. They have the entire police file. The cops were never going to bring me in for access and assessment. I was not in a state where they needed me to have a psych evaluation, right? They came and checked on me. I word salad fawned all over that. We have the video notes to prove it, or the voice notes, because I didn't show the video. Then Allie Priestley, this one here, threw a tantrum, called back and insisted they're not doing their jobs. They didn't see the child. I'm going to murder my child, and they're going to be responsible. So they called MCFD after they'd been calling them repeatedly, right? To be like, you guys got this? And Graham's like, oh yeah, no, she won't parent her child. She's online for 8 hours a day. But don't worry, I'm the hero who got her into half-day schools. Doesn't know what's going on in her life. Claims expertise, both because he's a social worker and he's our social worker. This story of a social media smear campaign, putting someone in the hospital not because they had a mental health crisis, because everyone else did, versus little mental health breakdown, public displays of meltdown, run-ins with the cops, white woman tears, Todd and Georgia get her out of it every time, right? This one gets no consequences for her actions. I get all consequences despite the fact that it's like, what? Don't have bipolar, you fucking morons. Nor delusional disorder, but that one's more fun to play in. I can't play in bipolar because I don't have it. I have friends who have it. I'm not manic. I fucking can't. And the fact they are still in it, right? I'm like, I can't trust a single word you say. If you can't see how not manic I am with my entire history, you don't know how to diagnose mania. It makes me worry for all the people who you have diagnosed bipolar with. And let's be clear, the bipolar diagnosis is basically the autism diagnosis for women as adults, the late diagnosis autism. We get erroneously diagnosed with bipolar. They're not the same thing at fucking all. So if the mental health field can't tell the difference between autism and bipolar, they should sit down with the DSM-5 until they can. They should rip the I've never wanted to go to a book burn anymore. Let's burn all the DSM-5s. All of the psychiatrists can retire. And we can have people that actually understand mental health. If you have your patients vouch for you, that you're a good, whatever the fuck a psychiatrist is, you get to remain a healer of brain health. If 80% of them don't say you're a stellar human being who's helped save their life, you're probably the opposite. And it's cost you all of your relationships with your children and your wife to think most psychiatrists are men and heterosexual. Probably cost your relationship with everyone, and you're dysfunctional in relationships, psychiatrists, dysfunctional in the what is client, like the patient doctor, because you can't have a functional relationship in that under colonization, under when you have to follow rules or get committed, that they can't dissect their own existential crisis. That's a Rosenberg, I'm never going to get it right because my brain's on coin flip, experiment, debunked all of psychiatry, that they can't tell the difference between bipolar and autism in so many women. Yes. Psychiatry is it doesn't mean people don't have issues. People have mental health, like both physical brain problems and mental brain problems and spiritual problems and financial problems, and every stress affects our entire body. Our medical system isn't designed to deal with whole body. Isn't designed to heal us. I said in the video we watched earlier that like psychiatry is the only science that deals with dysfunction. It's not quite true, right? Like our medical systems don't know how to heal us or how to actually measure health. They can only measure disease. So they can't really tell you, well, how many cancer diagnoses are there. They can't really tell you how many they stopped or solved before they ever started, which they didn't in our current system. They're all there for dysfunction, but the discipline isn't. Oncology's there because of cancer, but when cancer goes away, they're not like, they still treat you because they have to see if it's going to come back, right? Because cancer does come back. Mental illness is for life, and you can't get undiagnosed because they don't have a way to scan you and see if the cancer's gone. They don't have a way to scan and be like, oh, you're right, you're not manic. I just think you're manic because you talk fast and weird. Yes, and in 5 minutes, I'll be a little different. This is just spiky functioning. I don't know if I have the autism video there's always videos I wish I had sent to myself. I want to go find that one if I sent.
Everything was fine, and they came back out of nowhere, and no one has ever been able to tell me or my parents or anyone why they were able to do that. I could have died from the medication that they gave me. I have horrible, scary, terrifying reactions to antipsychotics. They didn't even ask what kind of medication I could take. And afterward, I started posting about it on TikTok, and I started talking about how crisis mental health does not understand autism at all, and how anytime somebody is feeling suicidal or anything like that, crisis mental health a lot of the time is a mess. It can be an absolute mess, and a lot of times they're not helping people, and they're charging people thousands of dollars for a weekend stay in a jail center.
Yes, absolutely. It's a mess. It's something we need to fix, especially the mental health crisis portion of it. The fact that I also feel that way and live in Canada where it doesn't come with a huge bill, a huge wait list, not having enough help, but not a huge bill. The financial cost on top of that exasperates it. We need better systems for people who are in crisis. Because everything that's happened in the last 5 months, everything that happened 2 years ago with you is crisis that happens constantly. People are lonely, they're isolated, there's no system to turn to for help that is reliable and trustworthy and doesn't hurt people further. Again, doing all these tactics, though, is not actually helping the situation.
Crisis mental health is an absolute mess. And there was my really viral video where I went and confronted them. I wasn't planning on calling it human trafficking. It just happened. I went to the corporate office a few months later and I confronted these people, and it was glorious. And I said, I said, if you guys are not willing to learn about autism, number one, you're not willing to talk to me about what happened, you're not willing to train your mental health liaisons or whatever they call them, how to handle these situations properly. You can't tell the difference between somebody who's just really traumatized and having an autistic meltdown and who's actually in psychosis. You guys gave me the wrong medication.
I mean, you have parasocial relationships right now who you're trusting, who are claimed therapists, who cannot tell the difference between being in delusional psychosis and having a claimed autism 5-month long something.
And I have to pay money for this? And I was confronting them after months of being ignored. And I said, this is human trafficking. This is all for profit, blah, 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 blah. And I made a comparison, and that video went super viral. And maybe I should not have used the words human trafficking. But when they're literally, like, they can actually, crisis mental health can take your children. I was getting so, like, the story had already gone viral before that, and that
Crisis mental health can take your children. Mrs. goes after every mother who has a child. Of like, did you have a bad opinion of Allie? CPS called. At least a threat. If you have a mental health, yeah, they fucking can. They're taking disabled women's children for any fucking reason.
video had like 15 million views or something. And I was getting so many messages every single day before I went and confronted these people. I was getting hundreds of comments, emails, messages of people who had lost their children to the system, people who got stuck in a psych ward type situation for 6 months and couldn't get out.
Oh, the irony. Allie, you put me in the psych ward with your lies. You, Katie Felton, and the social worker from MCFD, three little trio besties on your little group chat, probably just discussing Jubilee and how you fuck her and her child over.
Like
This one, who's had this experience, instead of using that experience to not call the cops and not get CPS called on autistic mothers who are doing a damn good job parenting, but also have meltdowns and know how to deal with that in a way that's not going to harm their child. Allie has been the littlest, biggest hypocrite, right? Getting mental health systems called when they do not need to be called multiple times on her and on other people.
crisis mental health in the US is a corrupt system. And I'm sorry that I offended you so much by comparing it to human trafficking, but when they can just like take your child and you have good insurance and they can like, you can lose your child in the system and it's supposedly mental health, it's not the craziest comparison in the world. Me getting taken against my will and put in this horrendous situation and then getting charged money for it, it's a corrupt system. And we all know that. And I'm sorry that I offended you so much by saying that, but that does not mean that you get to spend however long trying to destroy me. And that does not.
Okay, we're going to end it here, likely. But you conflate these things constantly. That you used human trafficking in your tirade is also why there was a meme made about you that involved human trafficking by somebody who had actually experienced human trafficking. That doesn't mean she's extremely angry with you and is on a vendetta against you because you used the word human trafficking in a tantrum, a public tantrum, right? About your, whatever, we'll call it an autistic meltdown, even though I don't agree with your self-diagnosis. You keep labeling it like this happened, so I'm going to decide all of this is going to happen. No, you're conflating the two. That is not the reason there are 600 videos on a drive. The reason is because a phone can't hold all of your public tantrums, all of your video recorded, edited, chosen to post public tantrums about me, about my friends, about whatever thing you're going on about, without doing your full due diligence on what that's possibly going to impact and do. We're already at an hour and 40 minutes. And I'm going to come on and deal with the second half of this tomorrow or later. But I'm done with it for now. So I am on TikTok after going on my strike from saving the world in 4 to 6 hours a week. Encounter Allie Priestley. She does a stupid thing on my birthday. Oh, we're just going to try and sorry. Just found out where it is. I just need to desktop this and this. And then this came up, right? Solidifying Allie is Regina George. I'm trying to be Tina Fey. And all of TikTok is Mean Girl High.
Okay. Good. Can I just say that we don't have a clique problem at this school? And some of us shouldn't have to take this workshop because some of us are just victims in the situation?
That's probably true. How many of you have ever felt personally victimized by Regina George? Good. Okay, who's next? Who's next?
The person who put it up had Faye in their username as well. So I went on to try and deconstruct TikTok high with the burn books and the rumors and how you clear up rumors and how we destroy relationships and all that fun. Again, plain Miss Norbury, Tina, Faye. Then the signs and symbols start, and I realized both Tina Fey's birthday, which is May 18th, and Rachel McAdams' birthday, which is November 17th, covered on a different day. I had been with somebody who shares Rachel McAdams' birthday on 9/11. And, but Tina Fey's birthday, May 18th, Allie Priestley covers me on her TikToks. She put out a ton of videos in the beginning of 2023.
Person has
And then put this one out on May 18th. Look at all these double digits. The double digit on the timestamp was also 55 comments. This sits there for a year as the only video here for nearly a year before she puts up the one on Car, which was put up, I think, like March 18th. The day I found out I had brain tumors in 2025, sorry. March 18th. March 18th, she puts up one on Car. Other than that, it was just this sitting here for a year. May 18th, Tina Fey's birthday. Then this bitch gets me committed against my will, right? With the help of the social worker and the help of Katie Felton and the entire smear campaign. And then she comes on to clear things up, right? Let's just watch the
person has scared.
After she's talked about me for forever. Let's watch to the end. Let's just watch the end. Then we'll go on to the, I don't know what's at the end. Then we'll go on to the live. So she covers me. I'm in the hospital. She covers me both on TikTok and on her YouTube. Again, on May 18th. May 18th also happens to be a day in my journal where I wrote down May 18th from grade 11 and May 18th from grade 12. They were exactly, like all dates, exactly a year apart. And the irony that on May 18th, when I was 17, Devin called me in Germany and told me, hey, you're going to marry my brother and I'm going to marry his friend, his hockey best friend. Fun. Sounds fun. And then I started developing a crush on her brother. We exchanged letters the entire time he was away at hockey, playing hockey at the Jubilee Arena. And then right before he got back, she was like, actually, me and him decided you're not going to date. And then we went away for a long weekend, and she spent the entire time making sure we were not alone together, that we were literally never together without her physically there. And I ended up spending the night in the tent with him, cuddling one night. And we got back on May 18th. She called me up and said, if you date my brother, we are done. We are no longer friends. And that was the catalyst for me to be like, I'm done with this small town bullshit. If my friend doesn't care about me enough to whatever, process her discomfort, I'm out of here. And he doesn't care enough about me to fight for me. I'm moving to the coast where my sister and dad live. So here is a little bit of Allie at the end on May 18th, 2023, a year before she goes live, explaining how she didn't put me in the psych. Not her fault. Blames everyone while also admitting to being the one to call the cops twice.
I'm on the receiving end of it. Am I supposed to feel like I'm just this worthless piece of shit for the rest of my life? You really think that God... Allie.
Stop acting. Stop casting yourself in the role of worthless piece of shit. Both in your mind, when what I say where I'm not saying that, and in your actual life while you're throwing smoothies at people, labeling every one of your ex-friends as the problem. Stop being a piece of human feces.
Created me to be a horrible person. You really think that? That's what she says about me all the time, that God created me to be this horrible person. I think God, if there is one, is pretty ashamed of you. What you feel towards me is not a spiritual mission, Jubilee.
God created us each to be who we are. So, our own little triangle of how much villain we are, how much hero we are, how much victim we are. This one, pretty big fucking victim. Pretty big fucking villain. See zero hero in her because I've never seen her center anyone but Allie Priestley. Well, playing the hero, though, for sure. But she's chock-a-block full of victim and villain. Just stop being a giant human turd and life might improve, right? But you know, God has plans for everyone. Shit composts. Like, all of it's included in the plan. All of it, Allie. Do shitty things. You get remembered for your shitty smell.
What you feel towards me is pure hate. And I'm so sorry to tell you as well that Roxy and Emily are not your friends. These people are not your friends. And can we please, none of you are friends. If you all come together to take someone down, that doesn't make you friends. You literally are mean girls. You found your little mean girl pack. You did. You're so obsessed with Mean Girls, the movie right now, and you think there's all these synchronicities to me. No, it's a mirror to you.
Right, and then there's all the dates associated with Mean Girls itself, aside from Rachel McAdams and Tina Fey. That it came out on April 30th, which is the day that Katie was brought in, that both Allie and Katie threw a fucking tantrum on both April 30th and October 3rd. Their own little version of it. On October 3rd is known as Mean Girl Days. It was not the day it was released. It's just a thing that said in Mean Girls that became, we wear pink and watch Mean Girls on October 3rd. What are we talking about, Allie? Mean Girls. Mean Girls is what I'm talking about. My high school put on Mean Girls, and Mean Girls was released again on a new version, right? A musical was released on January 12th, 2024. As close to my birthday as you can get. Also, it became a relevant date, January 12th. None of it made up. None of it delusional. All of it weird.
You guys all revealed to yourselves who you really are. And you're the mean girls. That's the truth, Jubilee. And can we all take a real serious minute right here to understand how lost Jubilee is, how mean Jubilee is, how deluded Jubilee is?
Let's take a minute. How lost is Jubilee? How mean is Jubilee? How deluded is Jubilee? I think I'm good on all three of those, and especially compared to you.
And Emily and Roxy support her all damn day. They don't only support her, they drive her delusions. They make her delusions stronger. And if Roxy and Emily think that Jubilee is in her right,
if the signs and symbols are delusional, right? Like, if it's Allie, right? Tied up in all of them, tied up in, like, my family numbers and all of it, right? Little Miss. Barbie and Oppenheimer released on the same date. The main character of Oppenheimer has her birthday. I think the main character, we looked at those then. Let's watch the rest of this one. And then the one about when she's like, Jubilee just got released from the psych ward, except I was still in the psych ward.
state of mind, all of you need help. And Roxy has no business talking about spiritual psychosis. This whole group of people is trying to make all these websites about me and trying to provide real resources for spiritual psychosis while all of you are in it. If Roxy and Emily support Jubilee, that's all. Like, that's why Jubilee was brought into this situation. That's the spiritual part of this. Jubilee is not my victim. Jubilee has said that over and over now.
did for the first few months, right? You've called my family. You've spoken to my family, repeatedly called MCFD on me. You called the cops twice at the beginning of May to have me committed against my will. You painted me as a woman who would murder you and murder my own child. But I don't play victim. I will empower it. So that's what you've been experiencing, even my hospital stay. Notice how I didn't go in and film them throwing a tantrum. I'm going to be dismantling it and telling my story as we go, as long as it takes. And I'm not doing it for clicks and views, so they can't cancel me.
So you are admitting that I didn't do anything to you. You're just doing this for fun. You're just doing this for...
At this point, she had done a fuck ton to my friends, right? And yeah, it was fun. Not for my friend, you know what I mean? Like, she was doing to them, not fun, but standing up for friends, the signs and symbols coming in, my spiritual awakening, yeah, all of it was fun. Up until May of 2024, when my world was rocked, that I could be hospitalized for 3 weeks against my will because of this one's lies. And, of course, Graham's lies, which is the real reason. Graham, the social worker, lied to the doctors, is a criminal. Graham, the social worker, is a criminal who will never be held accountable.
For sport, you're doing this to protect your friends. I wouldn't want friends like that. You guys will all turn on each other. You already have. Your little group has completely fallen apart. And the three of you who are the most deluded, and Roxy has to keep her lie. Roxy has to keep this lie. So she's going to keep you and AMW close to make...
The lie of what? That Allie's a good person? Like, that she's trying to paint you as a bad person? You do that every day. Just by stepping out of bed and hitting record on your phone. And when we get the stories from today, we'll play them if someone can get me those.
Herself feel okay. Otherwise, Roxy's going to fall apart. Roxy has made such a mess, made such a lie, knows she's lying. I can't imagine being Roxy right now. I cannot imagine being Roxy. I don't think she has the ability to reflect. I don't think that... I think she just goes, ignores.
Her talking about Roxy and everything you guys have all said about Roxy has been like so pure conjecture and projection. Roxy hasn't done anything except exist, put out books, actually be a person who puts out shit, has integrity, and the mount this fucknut has badmouthed a black woman. Well, you guys did support her in that. Still supporting her in that. Still not backing up the opposite version of Roxy. Like, you guys really do need to just deconstruct everything that you guys think about Roxy. Roxy and Allie had a conference they were going to have. Allie freaked the fuck out on her on the phone, which we know is true because it's Allie. Roxy was like, I don't want to be treated like that, blocked her. Allie freaked the fuck out. Roxy made not a, hey, Allie, you started a cult, how dare you? It was like, if you've been in a cult and need some resources, I have just found myself in a cult, it turns out. Thought you were friends, turns out it's a little more cult-like. It might take a few years to realize the cult-like, because you weren't friends, you were followers, and then became friends. The amount this woman badmouths Roxy when she literally hasn't done a thing. The worst thing she did was help people when everyone was throwing around the term spiritual psychosis and cults and create actual educational material. And everyone turned on her because they were like, but you were my friend.
She has to in order to function. If she ever sat and really let it all sink in what just happened and what she really did and how much she really lied.
And can you hear now that every time she's talking about especially Roxy, because they were friends, she's talking about herself. If she really sat with this, she'd find out she's a horrible person. No, Roxy can sit with herself just fine. Just fine.
And how she ruined her own little platform that she had and like a bunch of supporters. She ruined all of it. And she can't even go public now You guys are so proud of that little podcast and you won't even go public on Roxy's account. Oh, please. That shows everybody if you guys weren't lying, Roxy would be public on that account. But she's sketchy, and she's been sketchy this whole fucking time. I can go live all the time. I can talk about what really happened. I have nothing to hide. But those aren't your friends. And this is why Jubilee got brought into this, to prove that you guys are just mean. You're just sadistic. You jumped on a bandwagon to hurt me. And now you spend how many hours a week obsessing over me and watching.
Allie obsesses on all of us, watches all of our content, and pretends she doesn't. She doesn't watch my content. She does watch everyone else's content.
Me, and I did nothing to you. That makes you the biggest mean girl. Get out of my life, Jubilee. Be gone. And please, for the love of God, get a new haircut. Jubilee, I believe, now that I'm thinking about it, was brought into this situation to expose just how deep in delusion Roxy and Emily really are. Bottom line. That's why Jubilee is here. Seriously, because it seriously shows that Roxy and Emily have truly lost the plot, don't care about spiritual psychosis at all. They all find it fine to keep talking about
So, she's about to mention Jessica. There are people who've had a mental health crisis publicly, whether that's spiritual psychosis, whatever that happens to be. There's been many influencers over the last 2 years who've unalived their children, who've unalived themselves, who've done drastic things. They're influencers. They have more in common with Allie than they do with me. Whatever the fuck is going on with me has been happening since a long time. That's not how mental illness shows up. I've been manic for 44 years if I'm manic. I've been in spiritual psychosis since my spiritual awakening. The DSM-5 doesn't even recognize spiritual psychosis. There isn't no such thing as spiritual psychosis. There's psychosis, and they can associate it with spirituality and religiosity. So they usually undo that. If it's a mainstream religion, then you're loud. And if it's not, then you're not. And so when do they decide how many people is part of it? I don't know. But the arbiter, right? She's like the expert on spiritual psychosis on TikTok. Having never experienced it, because this one's never been spiritual in her life. Spiritual psychosis, again, the mental health system has no idea how to deal with any spiritual awakening. Any psychosis or delusion. All they know how to do is drug you. And then we'll see what comes out of the black box, and we're never going to trust what comes out of you, which is the black box. Like, see what symptoms. Does it help manage your symptoms? Does it cause new fun symptoms that we then have to put more medication into the black box and not understand any of the chemistry of what's fucking going on? Doctors are kindergartners in lab coats. Psychiatrists are fucking embryos.
Jessica, even though they know they don't need to, they shouldn't be, and her friends and family have begged them not to. Her friends are her family and have begged them not to. Like, these three are just the spotlight is on you guys.
I find this really a weird part of this whole thing because I understand Jessica's family not wanting her involved. However, nobody, as far as I know, have contacted me or doxed. But they've contacted adjacent people, and quite frankly, I wouldn't take the stuff down. Now, I wouldn't take the stuff down. If I'd heard from Jessica's family back in April or when I was covering it, I probably would have. Now I'm like, no, our dead ones want us to have them come back so they can speak to us. And the messianic prophecy from the Judeo-Christian religion is that when the messianic age comes, our dead loved ones come back. I don't think that means they walk amongst us in their original bodies. I think that means the veil between the living and dead fall, and we can actually talk to the dead. I would like to talk to my grandma. I would like to talk to Eric. I don't know that our dead ones are going to come back. Logically, that makes way less sense than me winning the lottery twice. But I think we should try it. I think we should try on bringing the Messianic age because we could all use a chat with our loved ones. Something we could actually have in common. I think Roxy's perspective of Allie was right. What I think Roxy did wrong was respect the lies about Jessica's timeline. Repeat the lies about Jessica's timeline and believe Samara's lies. I see Roxy a victim of Samara and Allie. Which, yeah, the whole Jessica, again, Allie brought Jessica's death to TikTok from a comment. That is her stirring it up and creating a circus. Calling her P makes it 10 times worse, not better. And I don't think that's something Allie knew. It's not something I knew. It's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, out of all the social media things she did, I don't think that was the worst. Her using Jane's friends only video to taunt Jane was worse. And then her pretending she's the arbiter for P because the family aside, all of it, the entire Allie persona meets Jessica's death. And that people didn't agree that Roxy handled it differently than Allie. I think Roxy handled it way better than Allie the entire time, and I don't think Roxy did anything wrong in that. I think we all had the timelines wrong for certain periods of time. I still don't know, but like December 30th, she put up the video. January 1st, really early in the morning, she went out for a walk, and her body was found on January 4th, but her family didn't know, and the internet didn't know, and Justice for Takes Flight was still out trying to find her. That this is part of social media. Jessica doesn't have a huge footprint, or doesn't now. I don't know if she had a bigger footprint before she died. And, but many of us do. And then we pass on and our loved ones have to deal with our social media footprint, including people still having an opinion on what we put out there. This is the social media world we live in. And, yeah, how about the toothpaste back in the tube? Sorry, I might as well actually look at the comment. Reading the text of how Samara lied to people, especially Roxy, and how she got people to be a spokesperson for her while she hid in the shadows. Amen, Jubilee. I'll be sending you her latest TikTok shortly. If it's story's the only thing I need access to. I can be unsigned in here, although I just did sign in because it wouldn't let me play one of the videos I wanted to play. I don't even know if we're gonna play it, so I don't just sign up. But and part 2 is just dropped. They're stories though, right? They're not videos. Yeah, like I said, reading and hearing how Samara used Roxy's emotions by telling her lies about Jessica's timeline and friend. And that's what lie? Like Roxy did nothing wrong with Jessica. Allie did everything wrong with Jessica. And so I can't, I'm like, right, so what could Samara have lied to her about to get her to do that? Did Samara lie to people? Yeah. Did she orchestrate and manipulate everybody's emotions and relationships? Yes. Roxy didn't. So she sure does love to hear herself talk. I do too. Jesus Christ, she's fucking exhausting. Let me go retrieve it. Now we have a problem with pulling strings anonymously. She does stories because she thinks people can't report them. Yeah, in my humble opinion. You can, by the way. The irony never stops. Yeah, no, Smoothy, at a different time we will have a conversation about Jessica and the timelines, but this is one of those, right? It's not going to clear up in the comments. It's not. If you want to come up and have a conversation, not today, then will actually have to be a pretty good conversation.
And it's bad. You guys wanted the spotlight on you, right? That's what you wanted. You wanted everybody to watch Docs the podcast. And what's happened? You guys have about 20 supporters. And if there's... and I don't want to be near any 20 of those people because you all have...
The entire time, right? Just like, you're not. You don't have followers for me to care. Why do I even care you don't have followers? There's no one watching Jubilee's lives. As she has been bringing more and more. I'm going to play a TikTok that's going to be completely, or not completely unrelated, because nothing is.
Let's talk about the healed self.
But let's talk about the fact I needed to be signed in to watch this. Why the F did I need to be signed in to watch this? It was like mature content.
Versus the government. I know, it's a little bit of a departure, but I'm feeling feisty. If there's one thing we can agree upon, it is that trauma is, at its core, dehumanizing. And the trauma of normalizing the culture of narcissism has profound impact because it sets off a chain reaction of dehumanization as a means of progress. If you want to get ahead, step on somebody else. Competition over cooperation, limited resources, lack. We see where this is going. So when we tend to the wounds that trauma has left behind, we are reclaiming pieces of our humanity. We are rehumanizing ourselves from being dehumanized, whether it is institutionally or interpersonally. And when we know ourselves and feel free to function as our autonomous, sovereign, free will bearing selves, we are less susceptible to a little thing called governmentality. Now, I learned about this from a smart friend who studies rhetoric. Governmentality is a term that was coined by 20th century French philosopher Michel Foucault. It's a combination of the terms government and rationality, except in this case, government isn't just tied to politics, it's referred to like governance and the conduct of the people or the population. And in terms of rhetoric, it is a means of exercising power over the population by designing messaging, rhetoric, that encourages self-governance, like industries that have crafted narratives around what it means to be successful, what it means to express a certain gender or a particular race, or the division of classes. All of these things are constructed to other each other. And living in a society that uses mass messaging to further a culture of othering each other, combined with the normalization of narcissism, shit. Well, we've got our current landscape. A culture built on dehumanization, domination, and auto-regulation. Capitalism. So, if you are an introvert, a wounded warrior, just a tired person, a tired, exhausted, worn out human being who's just trying to put yourself back together, that's a revolutionary act right now. Every step you take towards trusting yourself, loving yourself, believing yourself is stripping away the conditioning. It's stripping away the messaging that says you need to oppress yourself in order to fit in. You need to repress yourself in order to succeed. You need to conform to belong. Because you don't. Reclaiming our humanity, rehumanizing ourselves so that we can recognize the human being in each other, that's turning off the gaslight. Because how are you going to trick tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people who are secure in themselves and their value and their worth to subject themselves to what? Funnel power? To a decimal of a percent of the population? Absolutely not. Every healing person is a walking revolution.
Person has scared.
So back to Allie. So May 18th, right? She has this one that stands there for nearly a year. I'm so scary. Also attacks my child for a year. Also, I only have 20 followers, so why should she care? The live. Let's just pick a timestamp. Pick a timestamp down here. Jubilee says influencers. Oh yeah, of course, right?
Influencers are so dangerous. Jubilee's like, influencers get CPS called on people. Then stop posting. Stop talking about your children. Stop admitting to child abuse. Stop using them as pawns in your stupid fucking drama. You guys say I'm so scary and I'm so all these things. I haven't made a video about Jubilee in a fucking year. I tried to ignore
lies. She talked about me and how she's not making videos and how she doesn't want to watch my content for a year. Like every day, either me or one of my friends' names came out of her mouth. That's why she was covered constantly. I was like, just stop having my friends' names come out of her mouth. She's like, no, I can tell this story. The lie that I'm telling. Okay, we have her stories. Here we go.
I think I need to remind.
Sorry, in case it wasn't clear, her stories from today, December 13th, up on TikTok. Okay.
Some of you guys that I built my platforms on talking about really hard, vulnerable, embarrassing things, and talking about autism meltdowns and psychosis. And
I'm interrupting this one to speak because we have a full copy, so I don't need to not interrupt it. Like, that's my autism. I need to, yesterday when they were coming up, I needed to record them live, or maybe that was the day before yesterday. So I couldn't put up comments. I just needed to be there. I started my platforms being vulnerable, going in and yelling at people about human trafficking and being locked up in cages. And then I used the R word and got deflat. Like, no, she didn't. Sorry. Being vulnerable, adjacent, yes. Stirs up people's oxytocin, gets them to believe her, gets them to join her CULT that she doesn't even know she's starting, has never deconstructed from. It's hard to be a Trump supporter, but I'm going to do it, guys. Feel bad for me. That was me being healthy. I'm clearly
mental health crises. And like when I first got on TikTok, I was in a really scary place of my life. And yeah, so you're never, ever, ever going to embarrass me. Like, there's a few people who are really, really trying to get my attention. And maybe you don't know, but like, I'm not embarrassed about things that I've done. Like, I'm not embarrassed about being a human. Like, I think people on the internet forget that people are just human. Like, anyways, somebody keeps making a burner account and messaging me like anywhere they can and telling me about how they're going to expose me for something that happened in May 2023. Okay, first of all, it's a miracle that I didn't end up in rehab.
Are you sure they don't mean May 2024 when you had a disabled single mother committed on your lies? Maybe they have the year wrong.
May of 2023, or end up in like prison because I drove out to Michigan and kicked some ass. Actually, both Hags and KA live in Michigan, so maybe I will take a little trip out there. No, I'm kidding, you guys. They're gonna eat that up. Let's talk about what was happening during that time. Let's see. Oh, people had bought my name. A very rich woman from Canada.
Is she pretending that Smoothiegate happened in May of 2023 instead of July 21st, 2023? Yeah, that's so you can put it closer to Taylor's death, the man you were never there for, just used for free dinners. Your gay hubby, right? He pretended you were besties with, but he didn't want you there on his deathbed. Did not want to see you after you had been a horrific friend to him. Posted YouTube videos of him on his deathbed saying he's a narcissist and a horrible friend. You need to have this happen in May? No, it happened July 21st with Yay.
Was trying to frame me for revenge porn. I was being threatened with lawsuits. They were saying that they were going to freeze all my parents' assets and make my 70-year-old parents homeless. KA had impersonated me to the government and gotten me kicked off of TikTok. 4 years of my work had been stolen. I had been bullied in the most insane ways that I've ever seen. One of my best friends in the world died in a really tragic way.
Oh my God. This is why I finally got discovered on TikTok and my burger got burnt, because nobody's watching her stories. So it became more obvious that I watched her story, I guess. I think that's what happened, because it wasn't in with her previous supporters. Both you guys are more vocal than I know you as individuals, but also her fervent other ones that went away silently with and they didn't become hate watchers, right? They aren't watching her stories to like comment on them. They just went away from Little Miss Trumper, anti-trans, anti-women, anti-uteruses, just, whole new stance. So when I checked on her stories and recorded them, I got blocked.
And we had a really bad end to our friendship right before he died. And I couldn't even process that was going on while these people wanted to destroy me over nothing, over TikTok drama. Do you know how I have tried to handle things privately with everyone? Everyone. I was just listening to some voicemails that I sent Samara back in 2023, and I was like, hey, I don't want to bring any of this to the internet. Why are you being weird? I see you and this woman, Carrie Ann, are saying you're buying my name. Like, what is going on? Just call me. I tried to handle things with Carrie Ann privately. I tried to handle things with Hags privately recently. All of these people are sick. They want power, and they thought that
We love how handled this privately off the internet is I leave abusive voice notes for them, demanding they don't do anything in retaliation, and anything they do, I also bring to the internet. Why can't they talk to me like adults and bring it directly to me?
this was a fucking game. Oh, I had almost taken my own life right before this incident, which is really just an autism meltdown. But let's talk about I would love to see any of you handle this amount of pressure and craziness. And
I'm handling it pretty good, actually. Pretty good. Pretty good on handling the amount of pressure you've put on me. The amount you've put on my child, a little less so, but I'm handling that even pretty well. But tell us again how we almost caused you to take yourself off the planet. But you're going to be okay because you have literally no one that are still online. I can't even tell your friends to go check on you. You literally have no friends.
people who won't just handle things like adults and have somebody with real money attacking you. Like, I lost both of my accounts, hundreds of thousands of followers. And then I almost took my own life. And then Roxy and Emily and all those people put out a podcast about me, which never went anywhere. But do you know how, like, when you do you know how much that messes up a person's mind? To see how utterly cruel people can be. This was all over nothing. Samara lied about everything. This was all over literally fucking nothing. This was malignant narcissism starting an actual, like, this was like a very public smear campaign, but this is exactly what people like Samara and Carrie Ann do. This is how they spend their lives. Notice how I have gone viral for 4 years straight. I have had videos with 17 million views. That was my highest video, I think, or maybe 14 million. I can't remember. It was somewhere around there. I know that's a big difference, but it was in the 14 to 17 million views. Nobody has come forward about me. Nobody has come forward and said, Allie Priestley is this horrible person in real life. No one. That says a lot.
I mean, we have them in this video. Should we also play the voice notes to Chris so they're in the same one for people? No, Allie, not true. Not true. Right? Your customer service experience, horrible. Horrible. You're known by the cops for being somebody who freaks the fuck out on them. I can't believe you're not arrested more often, honestly.
And so people who try to act like I'm this horrible person, like, clearly I'm fucking not. And I've done a lot of wild shit in my life. That says a lot. When I went viral talking about Samara and Carrie Ann, instantly ex-husbands came forward. Instantly, Samara's stepmother and sister came to me. Instantly, old employees from Carrie Ann came to me.
To share signs and symbols, and we already mentioned it in this one, the expiration for the videos on the cloud service is January 12th. January 12th. So that's however many, right? A month from now. The day Mean Girls came out. A year ago that day, Mean Girls came out. The less good version.
Instantly, I found out that they've been doing this stuff to people for years. somebody bought my name and told me that I could have it back when I was acting right and wouldn't just work through the situation with me. I hired trademark attorneys and they all ignored it and laughed at me. Yeah, I was under a bit of pressure. And yep, I had multiple very intense autism meltdowns. And one time it happened in public and it was so horrible. And I shook for like weeks straight. And I told Hags, I messaged her and I was sobbing and I was like, this just happened. And my anger towards Carrie Ann is out of control. And I feel out of control and I have to step back from this. And that was like, I was like, I cannot think about a lawsuit. Like the fact that Hags wants to use that story against me, like it just shows that she has been about the drama the whole time.
To be clear, no one's using the story against her, right? Allie tried to use the story against Hags on repeat. And then Hags, after Allie attacked her online, wasn't right. There was a period of time where, like, right, how good of Hags to not tell the smoothie story, despite the fact Allie being a horrific bully. And we all begged for the smoothie story enough, and it's so good, right? That, like, come on, Kristen Cavalari, America's Best. We have Allie's voice notes proving it, right? And Allie's like, I'm going to make this go viral. You go, Allie. You make your smoothie story go viral. You're only going to bring more attention to all the other shit you've caused. The smoothie incident is the least thing that you did in 2 years. Now, you did a lot of them publicly. You're embarrassed by that one because it wasn't something you could even tell your parents, right? It wasn't known. You're actually really easy to embarrass. You have a huge embarrassment trigger. Huge. That's why you were like, oh my God, don't tell anyone about the smoothie. There was more than one person there. And you left voice notes for Hags. And then what did you do? You went after Hags. You were like, I'm going to send stuff to the custody judge. Allie, someone brings a, hey, let's have a chat. Let's have an arbitration. She brings a gun and a knife to the non-fight. Like, what?
The second I don't want to be her friend anymore, which is very normal. And I was really respectful about not trying to like cause any drama. And I just stopped talking to her and stuff. She wants to use like a really intense autism meltdown against me. And I'm never going to be ashamed of that or embarrassed about it. And I'm so lucky that it wasn't much, much worse. And I have never felt like...
I'm pausing to ask this question because we know there's no way she can keep employment, right? So she's going to freak the fuck out on someone. We don't think she has her job anymore. Doesn't have her documentary deal, and she doesn't have anyone. I see some wellness checks being called in Allie in the future because she's probably going to pull another one of her and someone who has her parents' number needs to call Georgia and Todd up when she does that. Right. This is an influencer. She's handled. Nobody needs to call the cops. We've called the people living with her. When she inevitably makes a new foe. Oh my God, I'm done. Everyone worry about me.
Rage like this in my life ever. I've never had people want to hurt me this bad, and I would love to see any of you try to deal with this level of psychotic people that just want to hurt you. And like, you guys couldn't handle it. You couldn't. It's a miracle that I didn't relapse on alcohol more than I did. I am so proud of myself that I have somehow made it through this. A lot of people.
Like, I would love to hear from Georgia and Todd, who will never say, right? But like, what this last 2 years has looked like to them. Because if my family thinks I looked crazy when I literally didn't talk to my family about Allie or the signs and symbols, except when they were so very clearly signed, you know what I mean? And yet they, 5150, need to colonize our family, all kinds of fun. Her family lets her get away with everything. They go camping together. They're each other's only friends. like right now, is she actually, she's offline more, but she's also not. She's in people's comment section scrolling TikTok claiming she's off. Like, is she actually, like, what did she look like when she lost her TikTok accounts, when she had her big public, whatever, her non-big Instagram story, public meltdown that we're all responsible for nearly taking her off the planet for, and should never have called wellness checks on. Smoothiegate in July of 2023, she gets her TikTok accounts back and goes on to relentlessly bully people, keeps claiming that there's lawsuits that she's going to file. Like, how much are her parents aware of? How much can they hear her? How much are they just not aware of her online antics? And that, as I've said for 2 years now, someone's going to cost them their house. Someone's going to sue Allie. And they don't have enough money. They really don't. But someone with money is going to have enough and not done stupid shit so that they can just drag it out in court. Allie's going to piss off the wrong person and not the sweet, now general manager, right? Who didn't press charges with Smoothie, that you threw at her shoulder.
People take their own life. It's happened on TikTok countless amount of times over the years. If I was younger, if I didn't have my family, I would be dead right now. Dead. So yeah, I had multiple very serious meltdowns, mental health crises during this time, after this time. The trauma still affects me to this day. And I don't talk about it as much as I should. But someday I will. And malignant, dangerous narcissists like Carrie Ann Brewer and some.
I don't talk about it as much as I should. My entire TikTok, my entire YouTube is all me telling a slightly different version of this story that, oh my God, it's so complex and will never be told. Well, she's made mine extremely complex, and I don't care if it's complex. I'll just keep telling it. I'll do the opposite of what Allie does, right? Just show all the receipts on repeat constantly to supplement my word salad.
Mara Granovsky, like the fact that people in Hags and whatever are focused on my reaction to people committing real crimes against me. Oh, also during that time, the police were telling me that they couldn't help me, but that I could go through civil court. And civil court is such an unbelievable amount of money. I was told it wasn't even worth it to sue Carrie Ann. I had to walk away from all of that. Trying to sue Samara in Canada was a joke. That's why they did this to me, is because they knew that I didn't have money. I was way too transparent online. I thought that it would make people be kind to me. It was the exact opposite. Like, when you see the level of cruelty that I saw towards me especially over lies, if you didn't snap at some point, there would be something truly wrong with you.
It's almost like that saying, right? If you're sane in an insane, I don't even know what the saying is. Being sane in an insane world is no sign of wellness or something like that. Allie, what did you just say? 9:32 and 9:11. Look at that.
The level of cruelty that I saw towards me especially over lies.
The only cruelty towards her is the only one she could register. So not all of her extreme cruelty to everyone, including and especially children. My child. You, Graham and Katie, right? Hurting my child.
If you didn't snap at some point, there would be something truly wrong with you.
You didn't snap and throw a smoothie at someone's face, there would be something wrong with you. If you don't overreact and throw smoothies at people who've been doing nothing but working with horrific customers all day, and you don't understand that, like, there isn't a hire manager to speak to and they won't give me a free contacts, I don't know how to spin this so that I'm the hero. And she does, though, right? If this could convince some people on TikTok if it wasn't in stories. And yet there's no way this makes everyone else, like, you threw a smoothie at someone. You can claim it was an autistic meltdown all you want. Even if it was an autistic meltdown, you still have to clean it up one way or another. You still don't get away with that, except you do, right? No charges pressed. Other people who've had way less incidents, charges pressed. Not allowed to go to that place anymore. Now, they didn't also, it would be hard to know who she is, right? I don't know when that was. I don't know what the statute of limitations is. But the general manager of America's Best might want to now charge, right? Especially if you're lying and saying that there was a reason. You're still not apologizing, still not taking accountability. I would say America's best bet is to charge this one with assault.
You. And now the person that I trusted the most is using stuff like that she was there for, that she was part of causing, to try to make me feel weird or try to threaten me. Why don't... What a joke. What a joke. The reason I am big on this app, the reason that I will always build platforms wherever I go.
The reason I'm big on this app, when people are like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in a while, then anyone in the comments like, do you know she's a Trump supporter? Do you know she's pro-forced birth? Any anti-trans rights? Like any of this? No. And then they exodus. And no, she's not actually building her alt-right pro-Trump platform because she literally can't. Like, she's just like, she has 500,000 followers who are following her, even if they voted for Trump, for spiritual psychosis, for like all of this stuff that she's gathered these people and not promised them comfort content, promised her that she's a space for information when she's never a space for information, never actually does the thing that she's like. It's all drama, all centering Allie, all of it, legal stuff that's never coming. Like, what was Katie's? I don't watch Katie's stories. I'm blocked to them. But every time I have, she's just like, and I'm in another lawsuit with my stalkers. I'm off to the hospital. I'm just like, Katie.
Oh, when I try is because I'm so authentic and because I won't be ever embarrassed about autism. Okay, like I was saying, I will never be embarrassed about autism, meltdowns, or anything.
Again, throwing a smoothie at a customer, at a manager or an employee, throwing a smoothie at anyone, unless they really truly warrant it. Like a smoothie in self-defense, I get, right? Because they didn't give you a free pair of contacts. Again, Allie, drink the smoothie if you're hangry. Blaming your horrific actions on, I was hungry, I was autistic. She deserved it. She wouldn't do everything I wanted her to do as I wanted her to do it. I mean, it's really her fault. I respectfully went back in there to rehash what she'd already said no about with a smoothie in my hand. And she didn't wholeheartedly be like, oh yeah, no, we changed our policy in the last 5 minutes. We give little Karens contacts. No, we don't use Karen. Contacts, no problem, right? If you throw a smoothie at someone, sure, you get a free contact. That was not the promotion, Allie. But I'm never going to apologize for an autistic meltdown
in my life. And that's why people like me, is because I'm authentic and I will always own up to things that I've done. I will admit my mistakes and things. Like, I know I had a major part in all of this, even.
I'm going to start using the term, I know people like me because I'm vulnerable. As opposed to whatever the fuck it is that does come out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Like I grow on people. People don't like me to begin with, and then I grow on people, and then, you know, that's actually a better foundation. People don't like you, Allie. People don't like you. You burn every bridge eventually. Even if they like you for 2 years, eventually you're gonna fuck it the fuck up and make no amends. No apology, no cleaning up the smoothie, no cleaning up the equivalent of the smoothie. Just narcissistic tirades of how they're wrong and they shouldn't bring it to the internet. Well, you bring it to the internet. You did it to Taylor, your dying now passed away friend. You did it to Carissa. You did it to Roxy. You're doing it to Hags Cure. You're just, you did it, of course, in America's Best. You had your own little tantrum, and now you're blaming it on all of us for all the things you were going through.
And though I didn't, like, lie or do crazy stuff back to these people, like, I could have done way crazier stuff. You guys know that, right? I love how people call me crazy. Like, you want to see crazy? I'm not willing to go and commit actual crimes like they were. Where is the energy for that? I mean, there was plenty of it when I exposed them. I appreciate all the people who supported me, but it's like, yeah, you guys want people to be crazy. You do things like this so you can get a reaction out of them. And then when they have a public meltdown, when they take their own life, when they go and hurt someone because they finally snap, like, I didn't do anything illegal back to these people at all.
Well, you helped Graham do illegal shit based on your smear campaign and based on the lies you told. And so you might be, right? Jubilee's not doing bureaucracy. The fact that there might be a lawsuit, it's way more likely Jubilee is just bringing it to the internet. This is my recourse. This is what I've said, right? This is where I can be. This is what I can do. I can tell my story, and my story just happens to be complex. No smoothies in my past, though. No smoothies.
Could you imagine if I was as crazy as all these people have always tried to claim and still claim? Like, babe, I would have done some wild shit. I have never been tempted in my life to, like, I have never felt like this. It felt like I was in a movie. I still feel like I've lived through a movie. And all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, this is why there's real violence in the world. I've never been in a situation where I was like, things could get really unbelievably scary. And that's the energy that they brought. Carrie Ann, Samara, they brought actual violence to this.
Multiple texts from both Katie and Allie calling for violence against me, violence against Carrie Ann, violence against us. And yeah, right, repeatedly, I'm going to kill Jubilee. Those things don't come out of my mouth, right? You just spin the weird sound that does come out of my mouth. Still not threatening people, still not throwing smoothies. But go off, Allie.
Situation, and they were hoping to absolutely bury someone and their family. And I won. And I fucking won with no money. And all of them are so fucking lucky that I decided to use Mary Jane and chill out and move on with my life and try, like, you guys are so lucky that I am not as crazy as all of you say, and I am not willing to do illegal things back, and I am not willing to match their energy. Me exposing them online for what they did when I tried to handle it privately first, that's called retribution. That's called the truth. And if you didn't want me to fucking talk about it, you shouldn't have done it. And I still tried to handle it.
If you don't want me fucking talking about it, right? Katie Felton probably should have done what she absolutely did for months, right? Claiming that her mother and Josh of Dad Challenge podcast was calling MCFD and they were getting my child removed. She did that. Katie Felton, we have all of the receipts of you doing that. Whether you called or not, you damn well encouraged Allie to. Allie did call, for sure, as she admits to. And between the two of them and whoever else they roped in, they convinced MCFD of their version of me. So much so, they had Graham commit crimes, lie to the doctors, outright lies and many exaggerations to get me committed against my will. And the psychiatrist, whatever they did with that information, will come to light as well. Every psychiatrist will be named eventually. The social worker will be named, right? They need to come to grips with the fact they fucked up, or I need to process it is really what needs to happen, because psychiatrists, MCFD, all of that have ultimate power. So I'm going to process what they did to me over those 3 weeks and since then. Allie is going to keep bringing up her faux as fuck mental health crisis that we're all responsible for, and she's never responsible for any of it. And they'll just be intertwined beautifully. I get to tell my story. It's my story. I get to tell my story. Keep going, Allie.
Privately with all of you. That's the truth. But I know my part in things. I know I had a part in all of this. Like, The adults can admit that I made mistakes. I should have never responded to this stuff. Nothing would have gotten that out of control if I hadn't responded. Nothing would have gotten out of control if I hadn't met Hags and Smoothies. I am happy to admit and take accountability for things that I actually do. And yeah. And the reason that Hags, like, she knows that if she actually tried to bring this story to TikTok, first of all, it would go nowhere. But second of all, I would have no problem talking.
Why? Why does she bait everyone like that? Hags knows. No, I think Hags is doing other things with her. Hags makes her own decisions and whatever she does. But we all got the voice note now. You don't think that's making it to TikTok? It's making it to TikTok. In your own voice, right? You throwing a smoothie at someone. You in the stories. That what she just said, right? I'll make it go viral. Those two clips together might go viral. Probably won't because it's about Allie, and TikTok really does rise Allie's content and suppress anything about Allie that's negative. I don't know why it does that, but it does that. Eventually it will flip, and I hope Allie has real friends at that time because it's going to get hard. Basically, the lies she's been saying for her mental health crisis and her physical health and how TikTok's an addiction. None of that's a lie. Those are all true. Anyway, back to the stories.
Talking about it if I needed to address it, and people would completely understand, and I would wipe the actual floor with anybody who tried to hurt me with this stuff because the truth speaks for itself. And the funniest part is this whole time my hate group has been like 12 fucking people, and Jubilee gets literally 7 views on her videos. I am not worried about this hate group, but I'm
right? Like Allie, the most mediocre of influencers, who has honestly a pretty boring story that she's like just beaten to death. That's the murder, Allie. That's the murder. Jubilee, whose sister was Nature's with Rachel McAdams, comes to TikTok, be a Miss Norbury of TikTok High, all the mean girl signs and symbols, all the signs and symbols. Eventually, this will be on Netflix or a streaming service. Eventually, everyone involved in what they've done comes to light.
Processing this stuff out loud from time to time. I could talk about this all the time on the internet. I could make this whole thing my entire personality for years. I turned down a major documentary with major celebrities about this. Do you get that? Because I'm done with the attention. I got millions upon millions of views on this story, and I am learning to sit with that and just say, yeah, I won. I need to be okay with that. I don't need to further hurt these people. I know what it's like to have a ton of pressure on you. Like, I am taking like the high road or whatever, and it's not easy. And instead of distracting myself with the internet forever, I am actually working on myself, and I have changed tremendously. And I'm going to use this situation for good. And I saw what the internet is really, really like, and it's disgusting. Sorry, there's so much stuff I want to say, but I don't care. I'm just going to throw up random stories and yeah. I'm learning to radically accept myself and accept this life and accept my brain and how things go. And I'm also not going to let autism and all of this stuff run the rest of my life. Like, I'm never going to be like, I'm working on getting my resilience back in a way that I think is going to be unbelievable. And I am such a strong person, and I have so much to be proud of. Like, yeah, the internet will rip your mind apart. And despite all the stupid decisions I've made a lot of wise decisions. And I know that I will be repaid by the universe or whatever it is, like however all this works. Like, the decisions I'm making now are going to come back in a really good way in the future. And that's something I do know. And I've gotten to help thousands upon thousands of people.
So her pretending, right? Her rebrand, restart, she nearly took her life by her own account because she lost platforms. Quantum shifting, one of the first people she covered on her account, who she claims is in spiritual psychosis, has spiritual beliefs and beliefs I don't agree with, but does not appear to, it appears to be an articulate, intelligent, spiritual person. She had 500,000 followers. Allie covered her on a YouTube channel. Unrelated to that, she lost her account. I think doing selling mushrooms, and she says that there's like no, anyway, her videos on restarting and being like, wow, I don't find toxically positive. This is all kinds of not toxically positive, but like, I'm gonna restart. I'm always the hero, while playing the victim and really being a villain. I want to play quantum shiftings, but I don't know what her account is.
And I got to like see that no amount of money or fame or attention or adoration or people understanding me or people thinking I'm funny, like I got to see that that doesn't fulfill a person. I got to see that like that the only place to go is truly internal. Like there's no amount of attention or views that will ever fill that hole. And I know we all are told that our whole lives, but it's really, really true. And to learn that early in life is a really, really big gift. Anyways, the funniest part is that there's still probably just a very small hate group about me, and they will never get my attention in the same way ever again. I know I'm talking about it right now, but I will never like go back and forth with these people. You can try to put out stuff about me. I will probably never see it, number one. And number two, no one cares. No one cares. I've never had like a big YouTube video made about me. I've never had any viral videos made about me. Like that's the craziest part of this situation, is realizing that I need to understand that I am at a level where I shouldn't be responding to or groveling with people like Hags and Smoothie. Like I can never let people like that around me ever again. And that once you have a lot of followers, people see you in this different way. And I didn't see myself in that way. And that was another one of my big mistakes, is letting Roxy near me, is responding to AMW. And yeah.
No, I had a little brain like, this is today, right? Roxy's name coming out of her mouth. If only I hadn't been friends with Roxy. If only I'd responded to AMW. If only I drank in that smoothie. It's never anyone else's. Oh, sorry. It's always everyone else's fault. Never her responsibility. She will start a circus around the next woman's death. She will. I mean, we're watching it, right? You shouldn't respond to people. Well, jeez. Allie, TikTok's not your journal. It's not your journal. This is responding to people. It is.
This could have literally never gone anywhere. And I've learned so much about that. So I will never get in those pissing matches again. Ever. Like even a few months ago or 6 months ago with what happened with Hags, I would have gotten on live and tried to go through our Instagram messages and tried to, you know what I mean? Just like prove my side of the story. I don't care. I don't care anymore. A grown adults trying to expose each other on TikTok is actually really embarrassing. And I think that just shows a lot of growth, and that's not why I came to this app anyways. And I was never getting involved in people's personal lives at all before Carrie Ann and Samara and all these psychos and Reddit people and all these toxic grown adults acting like high schoolers. Like that's what this app is. It's so much immaturity. Like before these people really got involved in my life and started sending me all this toxic shit, like and before people committed crimes against me, even then I didn't want to put personal stuff online, but I fell into it pretty heavy. So I don't know. I just think yeah, it's a bunch of grown adults acting so immature online, and I will never get involved in stuff like that again. It's all of us being like living at our base emotions, like acting at our very like most animal nature. There's no depth, there's no nuance, there's no conflict resolution, there's no loyalty, there's no trust. Like, people turn on you after they are obsessed with you because they don't really know you.
She clearly has no idea how social media works, how rumors and clearing them up, despite my 2-year effort to try to teach her following. If you bring it to the internet, it's now on the internet. It's on the internet forever, even if you take it down in 30 seconds or a couple hours. Bringing it, needing to clear up your side, causes the other person to need to clear up that side, which, you know what I mean? It's just Medusa, cut off one snake and 2 snakes grow. No one is trying to prove anything about her, Hags, with simply responding to accusations. For some reason, her being like, no one ever. We're going to play the one from December 11th while I go clean my kitchen, and then I'm going to end the broadcast. I'm not going to interrupt it. It's the Saron and Mark one. So the one where Allie freaks the fuck out, and then her entire comment section of Saron the Things is people being like, oh my god, stay away from Allie. Allie's scary. Allie, which is what Allie's comment section is also, but she has all of those people blocked. So anytime anyone who does go viral covers Allie, the comment section is not favorable for that one. It's just not. She started to crash out publicly the second I blocked her. I mean, this is a very public. It's just, well, she's like, I'm a healing journey. The entire time, she's like, her body is turning on her. All right, we have Allie on the 18th up. Well, I'm in the psych ward, and she's covering. Oh no, okay. Where did Saron things go? Headed here. I did. Oh yeah, when Allie was actually friends with the predator. I hope this has both parts. I don't remember if I only covered the first one. Oops. No, don't do it. Did I do the thing? Freaking hell. I did the thing. I copy and pasted, and then when I came over to paste it, I copied the URL I was trying to X. Let's X instead of copy. And then to the blue rectangle. Enter. Yay. Okay. Right, I don't think I'm on over here. Okay. So this one from September 11th of this year, where Allie is sticking up for a 25-year-old, 26-year-old man, calling him a baby, calling this person a groomer. And then Saron Things covers it, and then her in Saron's entire comment section proving the point.
I mean, it's in there, yeah. That's right.
Kristen, he's a child. This is so predatory, and she is trying to trap a teenager into having a baby with her. This is proof that money and fame and football players, marrying football players, does nothing for you. Like, she is the most emotionally immature person I've ever seen. This is predatory. Why would you want to take away, like, formative years from his life? I'm the same age as her. I could never date a 24-year-old. I don't care how physically attractive they are. He's not attractive because he looks 12 years old, Kristen, and because he has the mind of a 24-year-old. Like, you know what it was like to be 24. Do you need somebody who's your own age to tell you that this is predatory and weird and scary? And it says so much about her as a person. Like, being a mother does not make you emotionally mature. It does not make you a good person. It does not make you able to make sound decisions. Like, it just shows exactly where she's at, emotionally, mentally, everything. You want to have a baby with me? She's like, say it. You can say it. He doesn't want to say it. He doesn't want to say it.
Have a happy life.
Have a baby.
I mean, that's it.
Kristen, he's a child. This is so predatory, and she was trying to trap a teenager into having a baby with her.
First of all, bold choice starting your video by saying that Kristen Cavalari is preying on her teenage boyfriend. You gotta catch people's attention, and you do clarify he's 24 later, but lawsuits are expensive, girl. I'm not saying she's gonna sue you. I'm just saying she could.
This sounds like a 16-year-old, and she's talking about them having a baby together. You can tell she's brought this up before. It looks like grooming.
Calling Kristen Cavalari a groomer for dating a 24-year-old man when she's 37, it's a bit much, no? Words, they mean things. Is it uncomfortable? Sure. Is it criminal? No. Unless you believe that he's actually like developmentally delayed and requires some kind of special assistance. I get that, but like if you're talking about your regular run-of-the-mill 24-year-old frontal
Interrupting to say something completely unrelated but related. The conversation, I think it was Chelsea and I had about children and how children connect families. Watching The Silo last night, there was a scene, I'll try not to ruin it for people who are watching it, where someone talks about how he's got nothing left to lose. You've cost him his wife, his son, and now his daughter. He has nothing left to lose. And specifically in The Silo, which you find out in the first few episodes, so I'm going to spoil that part for you, you can't have babies. No one's having babies. You have to be selected for a lottery to have a baby, and even then, they don't let you have a baby. So nobody, everybody in The Silo has nothing left to lose. And in society, many parentless adults, like truly, if you have no children, I don't think that means you have nothing left to lose, but there's a quality to that and that scene that was like, we've created an epidemic of people who are desperate, and they don't have children to stick around for. They don't have children to not go and do something Luigi-esque, you know?
lobe hasn't fully developed, a dumbass man. Yeah, I'm not too worried about him being taken advantage of by Kristen Cavalari. Sure, his decision-making skills aren't at its peak, but that doesn't mean he's not allowed to or capable of making them.
You need somebody who's your own age to tell you that this is predatory and weird and scary. Like, you have to think like that, like, oh, my partner's so much younger than me, that they are still so innocent and don't have enough life experience. Like, if you have to have those thoughts of yourself, you shouldn't be with that person. This is selfish.
You're right that he didn't seem jubilant in that clip about the baby. He's never struck me as a wordsmith. I'm not going to read too much into his response or lack thereof. What I do know is that if he doesn't want to have a baby with her, he can just not have a baby with her. I think she's like sprung and smitten and wants to have a baby with him. But to say that she sought out a young and impressionable man, someone intellectually incapable of making good decisions for themselves, just so that this young man could impregnate her? I don't know, girl. I put my money on like, you're hot, I'm hot, when we make the hottest babies. Well, that version of family planning definitely sounds more realistic for these two. Again, like, not lovely, but can their children die? Am I being a little too nonchalant about this? You can tell me. To me, this is like, deserves a side eye.
It was all about how he was the perfect girl for him. And that's exactly what Kristen Cavalari is doing with Mark. In my opinion, I'm allowed to have them. Just like you're allowed to get on here and talk shit about me and you don't know me at all. And you're in the comments. But nobody does, because they don't want the actual truth of who I am or what happened with anything. You guys just want to avoid your own lives and spin around on the internet and sit on Reddit and make fun of people. I would hate to waste my whole life on lies about other people. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. The internet is ruining society in a lot of ways. Anything you guys want to know about me, just ask me. Seriously, not that hard.
Mind. Let's engage. I made a video saying I agreed with calling Kristen Cavalari a groomer and a predator for dating a 24-year-old man at the age of 37. I believe it's a misuse of those words, and throwing them around dilutes their impact. And I stand firmly in that. This is how I ended the video. Oh, my sense is being told by the patriarchy. Is this woman actually making sense? By the fucked one? I need thoughts. Oh, and I swear to God, any of you hoes go to this Allie woman's page and give her any hate, just don't fucking do it, okay? She's allowed to have an opinion. I'm allowed to disagree with it. It's called discourse. Okay, love you all. Feel free to watch the whole thing, but that was generally the tone. And this was the lady's response.
This video trying to make me look like but you just prove everything that I'm saying and how gross this dynamic is and that he's not ready to have a baby with her. Do you understand what grooming is? Like, do I need to explain that to you? And no, I'm not scared of lawsuits, honey. You just said you were going to Google me, right? Clearly you haven't Googled me yet if you think I'm scared of a lawsuit.
Your videos make it seem as though my response was mean, rude, aggressive, an attempt to make you feel foolish. But then when someone pushes back against that because that was not the tone of my video, you say you're actually mad at the people in my comments who are warning me about your history of erratic behavior. 1, couldn't have predicted that would happen. 2, your responses, they are not helping. And 3, I cannot help that you freaked the internet out. I never called you crazy. I didn't say a single thing that could be remotely construed as pertaining to your sanity or lack thereof. Nothing about your mental health, nothing about you was said. I also never said I was going to Google you in the video or in the comment. When someone mentioned that I should be wary of engaging with you online, I recalled that I followed you over a year ago because you were in some crazy predicament with like trademark law and witches. So I said I was going to reacquaint myself with your main page. That's it. I'll reacquaint myself with her main page. And I still haven't Googled you. But when I told you that Kristen Cavalari could sue you, it wasn't about feelings. I'm just saying she'd have a case. You went on a public forum and called her a criminal, knowing that it was untrue just to make a point. I don't think you have to be particularly litigious to want to forward that along to your attorney. Lord knows I would. I don't care if you're scared of that happening. I'm just saying that it literally could. The video I made was about Kristen Cavalari and her boyfriend. You shared your opinion online about the same couple in a public forum where people often reply in turn with their own videos, sharing their opinions about the matter at hand. This is not your private journal. I disagreed with your opinion, but I didn't come to any conclusions about you, your personality, your sanity, your intelligence, but your response to someone wanting to have normal discourse based on a video you made shows an incredible lack of maturity. That, plus being overly emotional and incredibly self-centered, does not a great time on the internet make. So yeah, this was me not being nice, if you wanted to compare. Sometimes the truth, it helps. Helps real bad. Toodles.
That girl who made a video about me blocked me. Oh, why is that? I didn't ask you to take the video down. I didn't do anything. I was responding to certain people in her comment section and I was like, yeah, that's not true. Are you ready to show proof? Like all of these people, even the creator of that video was like, oh my God, yeah, she's so horrible. I just like, now I remember. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Are you talking about lies about me on Reddit? Like, what a fucking coward to block me when I'm correcting people in her comment section. Oh, right. You guys don't ever want the truth about these creators that you use for views. Like, we all use each other for views. That's the nature of the internet. We use clips of each other or whatever. That's why I'm not like, oh, she has to take that video down. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it gets 1 million views. Like, I have been through crazy shit online. Like, you can say what you want about me. The comment section saying insane lies about me, that does bother me. And it's like, I can recognize the people in those comment sections who are still completely obsessed with me. And it's weird and it's upsetting and they still want to hurt me. And whenever I try to tell them like, hey, you can come to me.
Just so we all have it in the same one, I named this one Throwing Smoothies at People's Psych Wards on May 18th. I also made a thumbnail. I'm going to update. If someone could post it on Reddit, every time I post on Reddit, I'm an anti-marketer and post it in the worst way. I want it on TikTok drama. I want it on people who want TikTok drama, looking for TikTok drama, who want really niche content and want to complain really, right? Like, not that. That's not the post. The post is just Smoothiegate. The post is just Smoothiegate and bringing people here. Here is.
Hi, I'm calling actually not related to glasses, and I don't plan to take up much of your time. I'm so sorry to bother you. I had a question, and it's gonna. Hello?
Sorry, you broke out for the last 2 seconds of that. I know it's not related, but then you broke out.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so this is a very, very random question. My apologies in advance. Do you know that within the last 2 years,
at your establishment, was there ever a time where a woman threw a smoothie at an associate or receptionist?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes.
Are you serious? I got the right place? Oh my god. Oh my god. I am so sorry. And first of all, it's not me. I was not her. No, that was not me. That was not me. That person, I actually just wanted to call. I cannot believe I actually found the establishment for you. I'm going to apologize on her behalf because wow, I cannot believe that actually happened. And I just wanted to check in to make sure that person is okay, truly, because that woman is a menace. She's like a whole terror. She's a problem.
No, yeah, she was all good. Honestly, we laugh about it all the time. Like, it's just a thing that we can kind of reminisce on. But yeah, no, she is fine.
Oh, okay.
She's doing good.
Okay, thank goodness.
A little traumatizing.
Sure.
She's over it. We're all good.
Oh, it's not every day, right? That happens where someone decides to lose their mind and be.
I know.
I hope she got a raise. I hope your coworker got a raise.
Oh yeah, she's our general manager.
Oh, okay, good. Happy endings, right?
Yes, happy endings.
Well, just so you know, if you ever want to, get in touch with me, because I'm telling you, that woman is known for being like a big problem, and I hope she does not come back. But
I hope so not either. But I know we'll know her when we see.
Yeah, you'll know her when you. Do you want to take her name down? Do you want to know who it was?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Yep, I'm happy to share.
I'll be nice to her, but yeah.
Yep. Her name, it's Allie or Allison Priestley. Priestley.
For a last name, not really Priestley.
I know. But what could she have? And here's my mind. I didn't know this story. She actually told a friend because she had a meltdown afterwards, and the friend told me that this happened because it doesn't surprise me. She has no regulation skills, and she does not know how to communicate with people without being a terror. But I can only imagine what could she have possibly been reacting to throw that on a human. I mean, the cops could have come.
Oh, I'm a little surprised. I talked to her about that. I was like, why didn't you do anything? And no, she's too nice of a person, and honestly, it's like very lucky that she didn't do anything because that's straight up getting her in trouble.
Yeah, for sure. It's assault, quite frankly. So yeah, you have her name.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I did not think I'd hear about this ever again.
Because it happened last year, did it? Okay. Okay, well, I am so sorry to re-traumatize if I did, but I just wanted to connect to say, if she ever wanted to talk about this, because we all know the person, she's more than welcome to, give me a call. I'm happy to talk about it with her. She could share a story if she wants. Otherwise, if she just wants to go live in peace too, I understand that.
Awesome, sounds good. I will relay the message and let her know.
Okay, and my name, by the way, is Krissa. Crissa.
Okay. Perfect. And then 610.
And your name? I'm sorry, your first name?
My name's Emily. I'm the assistant manager. So I showed up after that, but I did know I know about this.
Okay. Well, it was very nice to chat with you, Emily. And I'm sorry to take up your time with something so random.
No, thank you very much. I'll let her know. She'll probably get a kick out of this stuff.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a really, really great day. And if I hear from you again, I'd love to. If not, you have a wonderful holiday.
Awesome. You too. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Now, just so they're right together for everyone, let's play Allie's version on the same day, right? Now, she's going to tell it in a different way and have it go viral. Don't you dare bring this to TikTok, anyone.
I need to get off the fucking internet. Something so scary just happened. And it's because I'm feeling, so traumatized and shit by, the whole cop thing. Bro, I just fucked up so bad, and I don't even know what to do, and I don't know if I can get arrested for this. I can't, I'm seriously gonna have, such a bad panic attack. I don't know what to do, and I cannot tell my parents this. Oh my god, I just, Oh my god, how does this even happen? I think it's just because I was I watched that live back this morning and I thought it was making me feel better, but I think like between the cops and like, I don't know, I think like the cop thing, like I have this like really, really deep-seated anger about it, and it feels so out of control, obviously. And I literally just went to like get contacts, and I fucking hate America's Best, and they have been so horrible. And so I started going to one far away, and like I need contacts so bad, and all this stuff happened. But basically, I was just gonna go in today and see if I could do like my prescription's out, so but I'm going out of town, so I was like, can I just get like a pair of trial lenses or something? Hate this particular one that I went to today. Like I never go in there because they're actually like the worst company ever. Or this specific one, I go to one like 20 minutes away because they're like awesome. And today I just went to the one that was closed, and like I just scare the actual fuck out of myself. Like my autistic rage, like once it gets ignited, like there is no stopping it. Like I just want to lock myself in a fucking room. And after 6 months of all this shit, I just, oh my god, why did it come out right now? Like this woman, so like the manager came out to talk to me, and they were like being really weird, and I was like, so the manager came out to talk to me, and she was like, yeah, no, like if they've been giving you trials, like they're stupid, like we can't blah blah blah. And so so I left, and then I went back, even though I knew I was really mad. I was like, don't go back in there, don't go back in there. And I went and got a smoothie, and then I went back in. I was like, I want you guys to explain why you can't give me a free trial. And she even offered to have me see the fucking doctor right then. And I was like, I don't have time today, and I should have just fucking done it. Like it doesn't even take that long to do an eye exam. And she started like, so we went back and forth for a while, and she was like, well, I'm looking at your chart right here, like you're a troublemaker. And I was like, what? I was like, I have made complaints about this store before because you guys are terrible. She's like, oh yeah, you were just at Northland, you're trying to get free contacts. And I was like, what? Like, no, I'm not. She's like, you can just leave my store because like I'm looking at your chart right here. And I was like, the chart where I've like complained about how this store is so shitty and you guys never just like, I don't know. I was like, those are complaints. Or like if people got mad that I complained, why don't you guys just do your fucking jobs? And I was like, I haven't even stepped foot in this location in 2 years. Like you're not going to tell me that I'm a bad person. And like obviously I was like, I've been through so much. Like I just can't handle this right now. Like I just need a pair of trial lenses. If you can't do it because it's a legal issue, fine. But don't fucking tell me that you're looking at my chart right now and that I'm a bad person. And I don't know what she said. And I threw my fucking smoothie at her. I threw my smoothie at her, Hags. I've never done something like that before. Like, can I get arrested for that? I'm literally like, this trauma and everything that's happened is getting the best of me. Like, I think I'm okay. And before the whole cop thing, I was, but like that, it like gives me like this distrust in the world where like I have this unspeakable anger. And like, once my rage gets to that point, like I'm so scared of myself. How the fuck did that happen? And like, the girl came outside and filmed me after, like, as I was walking away, like that could go viral. I don't know if anyone was filming when it happened. Like, I'm actually gonna freak out. Like, I just walked around the building for like 30 minutes after that and tried to hide from them. And like, I cannot believe that just happened. Like, I have to back away from this situation because it's making me fucking crazy. Yeah, and if I'm throwing smoothies at fucking anyone or throwing anything at anyone, like I'm so embarrassed to like tell anyone that just happened. But like, oh my god, like if that's how angry I actually am inside, like I was so close to like almost punching that officer the other day when I was mad. Like, I can't get myself in trouble because of these women. Like, I just can't. And like, I don't know, this is so traumatizing. Like I have to take responsibility for doing that. And oh my god. I don't know. I think it hit her in the shoulder. Like, I threw it at her. And obviously they're going to have it on camera, and like there's going to be security. I'm seriously like about to like, I don't even know. I can't do, like if I can't do this. Like I can't. I'm so scared now.
I also hope she doesn't own any firearms. They never let her across the Canadian-American border. As there's 2 Canadians she'd probably take out. Does have death threats against in various text formats. I might bring that to TikTok if no one else does, because again, telling my story about psych ward and how Allie Priestley had me committed, and then but what I do want to know is the cops she keeps referring to, because this happened in July. She cannot be referring to the cops that came for the wellness check in April. She just had a run-in with the cops in July of 2023. What was that? What was that run-in? Okay. If anyone would like to participate in the Jubilee Palooza, which is just getting people to Jubilee's channel, getting me to 1,000 subscribers, 100 people will be the people who stick around and get it. Maybe even 1 in 1,000. Feel free to post any of my content literally anywhere, but especially on TikTok drama Reddits, because I want people who like TikTok drama. We're using TikTok drama to get to world peace, because all macro conflict, micro conflict, similar, based on a miscommunication errors, based on slight differences in the facts, slight differences in the scripture. We have the video evidence. We have been through a fucking war for the last 2 years together, and it's not over. And it's not clear what sides, you know what I mean? Like, it isn't a clear the North fighting the South. it is each individual having their own battle with themselves and every other relationship. What is yours to learn and grow? And yeah, anyway, I am going to end this here and continue about my day. And I will see you all tomorrow because I definitely won't be back today. All right, see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out.